30 degrees. Indianapolis Center, do you have any test operations restricted area 2508?
Aries 31, roger. Traffic is quite luminous and is exhibiting some non-ballistic motion, over.
Roger, Aries 31. Continue to send at your discretion, over.
Okay, Center. The traffic is approaching head-on, ultra bright, and really moving. They're right by us right now.
There are 1,000 UFO sightings reported around the world every month. 90% of these sightings can be explained, but 10% cannot. Officially and unofficially, the U.S. military has been investigating UFOs since 1947. Their top secret goal is to find out what's behind these unexplained sightings. The Pentagon classifies them as unusual airborne anomalies, but a better term is X-Files. Join us now as Mack 11 and Commander Cobra explore these unsolved cases, UFO incidents that baffle even the U.S. military. This is Mack Maloney's Military X-Files. And now, here's Mack Maloney.
Well, good evening, everyone, and welcome to Mack Maloney's Military X-Files show here on the Distant Thunder Radio Network. This is Mack Maloney. What a show we have for you tonight. A special show. We're going to be talking about a book called Beyond Area 51 and all the very strange stories and information in it. We've been talking about it all night. Hopefully, it'll be an enjoyable and educational night. But first, let me introduce the members of the gang, a.k.a. the Posse Girls. Time to sit down. If you're not sitting already, get your mister, get your fan, get your big box of Kleenex, your big box of wipes, and your big old squeegee, because very famous Juan Juan is here.
The romantically inclined Juan Juan is here. Hey, Mac, how are you? Hello, girls. Welcome to the show. Welcome to the club, especially my fan club. My fans are growing all the time.
Yes. In age or
I can believe the statistics. Yeah. I touch all demographics.
Oh, watch out.
Wow. I really do.
You know, put them on diet, JJ.
Okay, now the bad news. Sorry, Mills, Gills, and Gigi Gills. No Coco tonight. He's on another secret mission protecting our country. However, up there,
Sure he is.
up in Battle Creek, Michigan, the Battle Creek of the Republic, Switchblade Steve Ward is with us. Switchy.
It is great to be here tonight.
Hey, Switchy, how are you?
I am beyond wonderful.
He's beyond wonderful.
He's been a busy guy. He's going all over the country giving speeches and so on and so forth, getting paid thousands of dollars for appearances.
It's true.
Yeah. So,
And he's got a following, too.
he's got a following
fans all
because
over the
he's on a
place.
very popular weekly show.
It's upward to 15.5 right now.
15.5, what's that?
1,000?
1,000?
Followers.
15.5?
Yeah,
Okay.
right to the decimal point.
Who's your...
The last guy was really short.
Oh, okay. Wow, switch to him. Yeah, Ouch is right. Nurse. Wow. Okay, thanks, Richie. We'll get back to you in a second, okay? Also with us is, let's say, a special guest in the studio. Ronaldo, UFO mechanic, is with us.
Good evening, Mac. Hey, everybody. How you doing tonight?
Hey, pretty good, Al. How are you?
Nice to meet you.
Keeping out of trouble.
There he goes. He known for
I don't
many
know how
things.
that's possible, but I'll take your word for it.
Well, I'm staying ahead of trouble.
There you go.
He hasn't caught me. Let's
When
put
you're
it that way.
here,
He's,
you're in trouble.
He's known for many things, producing great honey, or his bees
Yeah.
produce great honey.
There's a guy who knows about the birds and the bees,
Birds and the
particularly
bees.
the
There
bees.
you
Right.
go.
And as we said last week, he's also getting into agriculture, as it turns out.
Yeah.
Okay. May your agriculture be as good as the honey, baby, and then you might have something going there, my friend.
Then I can really retire.
Anyway. Also with us, I'm saving the best for last. Oh, not
I mean,
really.
honey is agriculture, too, isn't it?
Sure, if you want to look at it that way.
It's in
yeah.
that category?
So you know what the best crossover would be if his bees started eating off the stuff he's growing. Connect the dots. Yeah, that would be good.
Bada boom.
Anyway, also with us is Agent X. Agent X is in his lair looking out at us. Agent X, how you doing?
Thank you for having me, and I'm looking forward to being here.
Okay.
However, I do have technical difficulties hearing and seeing you and myself, so I may have to clip off and come back.
No, you
Well,
look
we
fine.
hear you okay.
Yeah, and you look.
We
yeah.
see most of you.
Yeah, well, I can't hear you or see you.
All right. Well,
We're
let's
all disrupted.
let's at the end of the segment when we do the ad. I know it's this big bad world.
Sure.
We'll fix it. Okay. Also, joining us tonight, the beauty among the beasts, is our good friend, our favorite good witch up there in upstate New York. Raven is with us. Raven, how are you tonight, Raven?
Hello, my friends. I'm doing great. Thanks for having me.
Hey, Raven.
Looks like a one bun night for anyone who's
The
keeping
one
score.
bun night.
Okay.
I had a 2 bun in originally, and I had a meltdown over it because it looked so bad.
Huh. Wow.
Changed it to a 1 bun.
You don't want us to be the judge of that? No?
No, it looked real bad.
Okay.
Do 2 buns interfere with the headphones, or do you have,
Is it a technical problem?
No. I put the headphones on and I just shoved the bun back.
Oh, shove the bun back.
Okay.
That sounds like a line
Someone
from a
should
song.
make a song out of that.
Yeah, that's a good line for a song. Shove the
bun back.
Shove the bun. Anyway, also with us, joining us for the special show on a book called Beyond Area 51, we're going to have to give a genuine round of applause for my literary agent, Jim Frenkel.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Which
you.
is
It's nice
not
to be
clapping.
here in this strange place.
Strange. Okay. All right. You live in Nashville and you're calling us strange?
Well, won't be in Nashville forever.
Okay. All right.
Where are you going?
To a stranger place, the Research Triangle.
Oh, are you moving up there?
Oh, North Carolina?
Yep.
Oh, wow. Okay.
We're moving there next month.
Are you
Early
really?
next month.
Wow. You didn't stay in Nashville too long.
No, it's a long story.
Another story, another show. Okay.
We'll do it here, or you won't have any time for anything else.
We have friends in Triangle Park. They really like it there. So anyway,
I'm trying to get a job there.
Yeah, it's a nice place.
Yep.
Okay, so we're all here. And we're going to be talking about once again this book that I wrote a few years ago called Beyond Area 51. It's on sale everywhere on Amazon and everywhere you can buy books these days. It's basically a collection of information on places around the world that are like Area 51, but are not Area 51. I think there's 13 or 14 different secret bases, secret places that we talk about around the world. And we've done them kind of scattershot on the show over the years, but we figure, hey, let's do a whole show on this book and see what happens. So that's what we're planning tonight. But first, we do have a couple things. We have top 10 list, and tonight, in honor of Agent X, who is actually in Beyond Area 51. He's the person who's quoted, or misquoted, not misquoted, but anonymously quoted throughout the book because of his background and different intelligence services and so on. In his honor tonight, if you remember last week, we had the top 10 reasons we know that Coco wasn't in the Army. One of them was, number 8 was he didn't want to deal with those pussies at West Point. Remember that one?
Yeah, I do.
Okay, all right. So look. So now tonight we have 10 reasons why we know Agent X was in the Army. Okay, you ready there, X?
Yes, sir.
Okay, there you go. All right, Raven, you have the list?
I have the list.
Okay, let's go.
Start the music.
Start the music. Number 10.
Okay. He salutes his wife every morning.
Is that a yes or no question?
That's a fact.
No, these aren't questions. It's,
Okay,
these,
no,
are
these are facts, man.
These are
These are-
cold, hard facts.
Right.
These are statements.
You can either corroborate that or dispute it.
Yes.
Or ignore it.
We can bring Mrs. X in and
Or
ask her.
ignore it.
Okay.
Well done.
Number 9, please.
Number 9, his iPhone's ringtone is taps.
Okay, right. So you always know it's his phone. Okay. Number 8, please.
He still eats on a shingle.
Whoa, see? An Army favorite. Okay. Top 10
Cream
reasons.
beef.
Delicious.
I used to like that.
It figures.
Yeah, good stuff.
Top 10 reasons we know Agent X was in the Army, please. Right.
Number 7, every 2 weeks he goes out in his backyard and digs a new latrine.
You can't, yeah, you can't. Can't give
I
up
have
old
to confess
habits.
to that one.
Okay.
Not for me. Not for me.
Next, please, right.
Number 6, refers to anyone who was in the Navy as those fairies in their Little Mermaid costume.
Oh,
You
come
son of a
on.
gun. You don't really say that, do you?
Wow.
No,
What, do you
in
think
the
we
Navy,
made that
though,
up?
We call them squids.
Oh,
Right, that's true.
We
I
call Air
never
Force
minded that.
ferries,
You know.
and that's why there's no stairs in an Air Force base, because the ferries want to fly up and down.
wow. Okay, there you go. There's a look into the
Oh, you
military.
think that's not true?
Oh, I'm
Go
sure
to
it's
an
true.
Air Force base.
Well, they got airplanes. Please, next, top 10 reasons why we know X was in the Army. Next question. Next one, please. Right.
Number 5, hot refugee chicks from war-torn countries gravitate towards him.
All right, let me repeat that.
They don't have to be from refugee countries.
That makes it hotter. Hot
makes
refugee chicks from war-torn countries gravitate towards you. Yes?
Of course.
Oh, I thought you fell asleep there. Sorry. Okay, next.
Of course.
I was hearing crickets.
Of course, yeah. Next, please, Raymond.
Next is he loves the smell of napalm in the morning and in the evening
And
too.
in the evening, too. He likes it morning. Noon and 9. Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
as long as it's a good cup of hot tea.
There you go.
We're going to sweeten this one up, baby. We're going to need some of your honey to sweeten us up there. Now, okay, next, please, Raven.
Number 3, he thinks we won in Vietnam.
Oh, see, that's bad. Okay. All right, let's move on, please. Number 2.
Number 2, he still hits the dirt anytime a pin drops.
Yeah, I've seen him. We've seen him.
Oh, yeah.
A few bars. All of a sudden, he's on the
got
ground.
me on that one, Raven.
Okay. Someone opens a beer
All
bottle,
right.
he goes out the window. Okay, and the number 1. Go ahead, please, Ray.
The number 1 reason we know Agent X was in the Army, he loves his show tunes.
Loves those show tunes.
I confess to that one, too.
What's the connection between
well done.
the Army
It's a-
and show tune?
That's
I don't get
a
that.
inside joke.
You're in the Army now?
Right.
What's the one? Yeah, the thing.
I'm in the Army now. Right. Okay, X, thanks for your service. How many years were you in?
The Army?
Yes.
22.
22.
Wow.
Wow.
And you retired as
Thank you
what?
for your
Were you
service.
were you a lieutenant colonel?
Yes, sir.
Okay. All right.
Ooh.
And so how many people did you have under you? What was the head count of people you were responsible for?
Since I was in intelligence, they were considered special mission units, so they were smaller.
Yep.
So I never had more than 20 to 25.
Okay.
But I commanded a recruiting company, and I had about 35 there.
But didn't you have a battalion of tanks at one point? Weren't you a tank commander at one point?
Oh, no, I was a lieutenant,
Oh.
and I had 5 tanks in my platoon.
Okay. And,
That's not a battalion.
and didn't at one point, didn't you have like personal helicopter that you used as?
Yes, that was a great job.
Oh, wow.
We flew all over after the terrorist attacks, the first terrorist attacks in Germany in the late 70s, to determine the protection status of the various U.S. installations. And I was only a lieutenant, and I had 2 majors flying my helicopter, and I'd put my feet up in the back and say, "Let's go, Giles."
Wow. Yeah. See, that sounds
Wow.
wise. Okay.
What a gig
That was
is.
pretty cool.
Yeah.
Thanks. Okay. All right. And I just got to tell you this one story. So at one point, he was the leader of 5 tanks. What, 5 M1A1 Abrams tanks?
No, M68.
Oh, okay. All right.
It was a while back there, partner.
Okay. But still a lot of firepower. And one night, one summer, a few summers ago, we were down the beach with the lovely Mrs. X and Lois Lane, and we had some fireworks. But the girls didn't want us blowing off the fireworks because it's too dangerous. I said, he used to command a company of tanks. Okay? You don't want us lighting firecrackers? Really? They won.
All in perspective.
Right. So anyway, we're going to be talking about Beyond Area 51 tonight. This book that I wrote, a few years ago. A lot of interest in it. We talk about it on the show a lot. And Agent X, as it turns out, it appears in it because when I wrote the book originally, there's a lot of things in it that, I just wanted someone who kind of had knowledge of what's kind of going on in the real world. Give me either thumbs up or down, kind of vet it. Tell me if I was straying too far off cliff. So every once in a while, I know the book begins in a bar room and it ends in a bar room, but you also steer me through the chapters. It seems like a long time ago we did this, right?
Yeah, it was. And you've had some fantastic books, and I remember that one early on. Well done.
Anyway, that's what we're going to be talking about tonight. So before we do that, though, let's really get everything out of the way. First of all, Raven got a fan letter today from Northern Ireland. They requested a bun, and they requested big glasses. So do you have your big glasses?
My glasses are over there. I got to get them after.
Okay. All right. We'll have to do that next
Got my
time.
glasses.
They're requesting photos of you in your glasses in Belfast for some reason.
And what else? False teeth?
Put them up on Instagram if it's up and running.
Wow. She said teeth.
It's up and running.
A red wig.
Did she say false teeth? Okay. All right. Check it.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, I'll
hope
put them
so.
on over my existing teeth.
Hang on. All right. So listen, now that we're in the mood, why don't we just switch to Switchy? He's been there, kind of quiet so far.
He has been.
Yeah. It looks like it because this is the biggest skew of the show. People want to know what Switch had for breakfast, but he's covering his eyes. This isn't going to be good,
no.
JJ. This looks bad. This looks like a yogurt or an energy bar day. Okay. Switch.
He had oatmeal for breakfast.
If he had oatmeal,
With like fresh blueberries and bananas on it.
we're going to throw him off the show if that's
now,
the
that
case.
sounds good, actually.
Okay.
That does sound good.
No.
I should have
Grand
done that.
Slam
'cause
at
I do eat
Denny's.
oatmeal in the morning.
Yeah, that's what he's had for the past. Let's see what's happening. Okay, well, now that we've ratcheted up the tension, he's either asleep or he's praying. Switch.
Yes.
Okay. Have you been listening? So what did you have for breakfast this morning?
For breakfast this morning, I had a heaping bowl of sugar frosted flakes.
Okay, all right.
Yes,
That's
sir.
okay. That's
Yes,
all right.
sir.
You know, Mac, I never promised you a rose garden.
Okay, that's
You know,
good. That's good.
Along with the Cadillac breakfast, you got to have a few flakes
Right.
sometimes.
Hey, there's another line for a song. That's good. Frosted Flakes, 2% milk?
Did everything freeze?
No, you might have frozen. Maybe you're frozen. Maybe you're in sugar shock.
Suddenly I'm not hearing anything.
Okay, 1, 2, 3. There you go. How about now?
2% milk?
Hello?
2% milk, Switchy? Yes, it did.
Yes.
Yes, it was. Okay, good.
Okay, good.
Did you hear? Everything froze on me. Did you hear what I said afterwards?
No,
No, you
You
haven't.
I said I never promised you a rose garden.
Yes,
no, I didn't hear that.
we sang that.
Along with the Cadillac breakfasts,
Yes.
you have to have a few flakes sometimes.
Yes.
Oh, I heard that.
Yeah, we heard that.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay.
We agree with you
I
100%.
I didn't hear it, and I said it.
We already wrote a song around it. We already got a second line on a country song. So anyway, okay, Switch. You didn't disappoint. You ever put any extra sugar on those bad boys, or you go with the sugar that's on?
No, many years ago when I was more immature, I would do that, but I haven't done that for decades.
Put sugar on sugar frosted flakes.
I
Wow.
used to do that.
Yikes.
Yeah.
Not a lot. Maybe it's
See, one used to be immature also.
I
But
was.
We've both matured since then.
Well, I ate the damn things out of the box too, like popcorn.
Well, we did that.
Watching
We used to do
TV.
that at the old station.
Everybody does that.
Yeah.
We used to eat frosted flakes on the air back in the old days.
What was your favorite snacks when you had company over? See, a bowl of Frosted Flakes, a bowl of Sugar Smacks, a bowl of Sugar Pops,
Go ahead.
and a bowl of Captain Crunch, right?
What do
Everybody
you?
did that.
It says when you have your friends over when you're 8 years old, or
That's when you're having a party when you're a kid.
Oh, you're trash.
You're laying it out there, you know.
Party
Maybe a little
yeah,
cheese,
oh, you're trashed. You're right. Okay, it all tastes good. So
all
listen,
the good stuff.
My mother wouldn't let me have any of that stuff.
Really?
Just cornflakes or Cheerios. That's
that
it.
was
Yeah.
You'll eat it and you'll like it.
Yeah.
I liked Cheerios.
I still eat Cheerios.
Yeah,
so-
I still eat Cheerios
Cheerios
too.
are great. You know they have blueberry Cheerios.
I know they got like 10
No.
different kinds of Cheerios.
No, that's not good.
You can't
No.
eat Cheerios with sugar, though, because sugar falls through
Yes.
and hits the bottom of the bowl.
That's the prize at the end. That's the prize at the bottom of the box.
That is just so wrong.
Oh, I love Cheerios with lots of sugar on them.
They don't even call it Cheerios anymore.
What do you mean?
They have a million varieties of
They
Cheerios.
changed
you
the
know?
name a little bit.
Cheerios with asbestos, Cheerios with,
Because
concrete flavoring.
Like Cheeroats or
honey nut
something.
con-
Cheerios. That's what they call it.
Cheerios? Yeah.
Honey Nut Cheerios.
yeah. Oh man. Well, they
I think you're
shouldn't.
buying the off-brand, JJ.
No, I'm not.
You're buying the market basket brand.
Nope, they're still heart healthy, but
He's getting belligerent.
The big bag.
they want to make everybody know that it's oats, not
Yes.
wheat.
Yeah. Well, Cheerios is one of the most recognized brand names around the world. They shouldn't screw around with changing Cheerios around. It's right up there with Coke and like GE and stuff like that. Cheerios. Anyway, hey, listen, Don. Now that I'm just curious, Jim, what did you eat for breakfast? I'm guessing
Yeah, what are you guessing?
leg of lamb, a lot of potatoes, something like that.
I had a glass of orange juice,
Okay.
fresh orange juice. I had a cup of coffee and with milk and sugar, half and half in sugar.
Go ahead.
And I had a bagel, half a bagel,
Yes.
with the inside scooped out, so it was less bagel,
Yes.
and a light smear of butter,
Smear of
a light
butter.
smear of cream cheese, and some lox.
Let's put the lox on it. Okay. Yeah. Wow.
Well, when you scoop out the bagel, where do you put the lox of cheese on?
Well, you don't scoop it. I mean, you don't make it invisible. I mean, you just
I'm thinking of how you do
You
it.
make a trough.
What do you do
Yeah,
with
say
the
trench.
inside of the bagel?
sometimes we feed it to birds.
Birds.
Okay,
That's
so it
nice.
doesn't go to waste.
Keep it in the system. Okay. Cool.
I do like bagels.
One of my cats would have shouted that right down.
Really? Yeah.
I thought sugar on frosted flakes was bad, but that long peroration of that description of that breakfast beats the sugar on frosted flakes.
There you go. Well, this,
Lox and cream cheese is so good.
yeah.
It
That's a good
sure
one.
is.
Raven, I'm going to guess you had yogurt. You had homemade yogurt for breakfast. Let's just.
No, I had a granola bar.
Oh, okay. All right. Listen, can I ask something? A personal question.
Sure.
In the background, is that like a mechanical cat with its tail wagging electronically?
Yeah. It's one of those
One
stupid
of those.
Kit Kat clocks.
Oh, okay.
We have one of those.
Yeah, all right.
Yeah. There's a long story behind this. I'm going to get aggravated.
Oh, okay. All right. Why don't we wait till the last segment of the show, then, when people
Yeah, we'll save that for later.
when everyone can enjoy it. So why don't we take a commercial break now? And we'll be right back on this special show. We're talking about Beyond Area 51. The whole gang is here. So stay tuned, and we'll be right back after this.
Hey fans, Lois Lane here, and I think it's time for you to get some free swag from Mack Maloney's Military X-Files show. We have badges, pins, bar coasters, and some very cool 3D show logos that we just can't wait to give away. Just go to MackMaloney.com and hit the contact button. Send us an email with your mailing address, and we'll ship the free swag out to you quicker than Switch can eat breakfast. That's MackMaloney.com and hit the contact button to get your free swag today. Requests for Tasteful News of One will be handled on a case-by-case basis.
We've all heard of Area 51, the U.S. government's top secret base in the Nevada desert. But have you ever heard of Area 52 or 53 or 54? 54? How about Tonopah Test Range or the Navy's secret base inside the Bermuda Triangle? Find out about them and more in Mack Maloney's Beyond Area 51, Mysteries of the World's Most Forbidden Places. Did Richard Nixon show Jackie Gleason a crashed alien spaceship near the swamps of Florida? Is it true that more UFOs are seen over a small Scottish village than anywhere else in the world? And is there a secret place in Russia that some people think is heaven on earth? In Mack Maloney's Beyond Area 51, you'll visit more than a dozen top secret places around the globe. The haunted forests of New Jersey, a valley in Colorado where shadows come alive and humans can fly without wings. And where's the only secret base in America that's not been visited by UFOs? You've heard Mack talk all about these places on his radio show. Now you can read all about them yourself. That's Mack Maloney's Beyond Area 51, Mysteries of the World's Most Forbidden Places. Now on sale at Amazon.
Yeah, the very famous one.
Hello, Mac. Hello, girls. Ladies and gentlemen, all ships at sea. Welcome to the show.
Okay. Everything's good with you, right? You dressed up tonight?
Everything.
You got, what do you
I am. Guess what I got on today?
Let's see. Kanye West.
Never heard of
Never heard of her. That's a Keith Richards.
That's hilarious.
Very good. Okay.
It looks like Jim West from Wild Wild West. Is that correct?
There's an old reference.
No, it's Keith Richards.
Keith Richards.
Oh, sorry.
Try to keep up, X. Look at also
Wild Wild West. That was a cool show.
no Coco tonight. It was a cool show, but after a while they got a little nutty. Okay, and anyone over 30 isn't. I know what we're talking about. And the movie was a little too.
It was nutty anyway. But
right. It was
even
like
one of the movies was crazy.
It was like a Western Man from U.N.C.L.E. in a way, And,
Right.
Yeah, because he had gadgets that you couldn't have.
Right.
But,
yeah.
Of course, Switchblade is the expert on such subjects.
It turns out we did a whole segment on this show about 2 years ago. I just listened to it a little while ago. Anyway, so listen, no Coco tonight. He's out there defending our country, but Switchblade Steve is here. Switchy.
It is my great pleasure to be here.
Okay, one big bowl of Frosted Flakes into the day. What you have for lunch? More Frosted Flakes?
I had some leftover stuff. I heated it up.
Okay. All
I
right.
had some meat in it, some noodles, and it was pretty good.
Oh, wow. Okay, cool. All right. And that threw you over right over to dinner. Now, do you eat dinner? What do you do? Eat before you come on the air, or what do you do?
Usually.
Do you really? So what you have for dinner? Something
I grabbed a TV dinner that was actually a breakfast kind of dinner with like eggs and potatoes and some kind of meat in it.
Yes, some kind of meat.
Mystery meat.
That's what it says right on the top. Some kind of meat included in this product.
Sounds like an MRE.
I'll tell you, listen, I don't know, but the kids tell me that when you get what they call the munchies, TV dinners are really good. I'm just passing that on. I wouldn't know. Anyway, okay, listen.
I don't think any of us would know what that is.
No, okay. Agent X is here. Agent X. How you doing, X?
Thank you for having me,
Okay.
and I sure as hell don't know what you're talking about, the munchies.
Okay, all right.
Of course not.
You're the only one I believe, that says that.
Yes.
No.
In my case, it's true.
Right. Anyway, we did earlier in the show, we did top 10 reasons we know Agent X was in the Army. And also we're going to be, Raven's going to be looking into her crystal ball to tell us all the things about Agent X that he doesn't know himself. That's coming up a little bit later. But
I know where they're coming from.
Tonight, we're focusing on this book, Beyond Area 51. We talked about it a little bit in the opening segment. Basically, what it was a follow-up to the book that I did called UFOs in Wartime. And, I'm sorry. I left out, I didn't introduce everyone. Raven is with us tonight. Raven.
Hi.
How did I miss you?
Hey, Raven.
Okay. And also looking just as beautiful as my literary agent, Jim Frenkel. Jim, how are you doing?
Frenkel on the job.
Frank on the job.
There he is.
I got everyone now, right? Okay. Oh, and Al
I don't think you got Al.
Yeah, that's all right.
UFO
I'm
mechanic.
used to being in the background.
Well, I figure you're in the shot, but
He literally is in the background.
we're a radio show, so that doesn't make any difference. Okay, all right. Al Renado, UFO.
If he's in studio, he must be your lovable sidekick, right?
There he is. The second
There you go.
banana.
I'm always the sidekick.
Ed McMahon. Ed McMahon. Hall. So anyway,
Matt, can I just
yes, interrupt.
I love your book so much that I have it right beside me.
Wow, look at
Samesies!
Me
Oh
too.
my God!
Oh, yes.
Wow,
Look at this, Jim.
Look at
this,
how
Jim.
cute
Everybody's
we
got a
all
copy of it.
are.
Take that picture. That's the picture you should take of the screenshot. Everyone holding up their book. I have one too.
Let's do it on a break because I'm going to
Yeah.
need to take like 6 of them.
So, anyway, so what the whole idea was you have to follow up, and Jim can, and X can verify this, is that usually when you sign a book contract, usually what they'll say is that we give you they have the first right of refusal of your second idea. Your second idea has to go to them, and I think that's just kind of thrown in there, and and a lot of times they don't like it, but they like this one, and so we did this book. Beyond Area 51, because at the time there were a lot of books about Area 51 out there, and a lot of them were just kind of full of coke and stuff. Well, not coke, but full of crap, let's say. And so we said, well, let's do a book that's about places like Area 51. So I think we got like 14 to 15 different places around the world. It was very interesting to do the research. It's written in a way where it's very a very quick read. And I want to ask this to Jim. Now, Jim, you weren't really familiar with this book until you and I hooked up agent-wise, right?
Till a couple of days ago.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. And you got a copy. Did you read it?
I've read 3/4 of it.
Okay. And what do you think? Just give us your honest opinion now, because Jim is now my agent, but he wasn't my agent when this was published.
Well, it's excuse me. It's fun. There's stuff in there that, some of it's mysterious, some of it's sounds bogus, especially where you say this might be bogus.
Bogus. Oh, well, okay. Well,
some of it sounds, creepy. Some of the stuff in Russia is really, really strange. That place,
M Triangle.
Like the M place. That's
the M Triangle.
Like, it makes you feel better. That's unusual.
Yeah.
Or you can use a cell phone to call anywhere in the world from there.
Right.
That's
from the phone booth.
You wonder about stuff like that.
Right. Yep. Well,
I wonder about the luckiest place in Scotland where people win the lottery like crazy. That's my favorite place.
Yeah. Right.
Really?
Yeah. That's the same place.
What's up with that? I'm on it.
I thought that was in Brooklyn.
Well, maybe.
I used to live in Brooklyn, but I never did that.
They used to. They see this. It's Roslyn. Roslyn, Scotland, is very close to this place where they see more UFOs than any other place around the world. This town in Roslyn, and Roslyn is also where the Knights Templar built their chapel. And no one is quite sure exactly, how they did that. And there's a lot of strange stuff that goes on in this area. And also, on top of it all, people who live in this area win the lottery more than anywhere else in the United Kingdom. Cool. Okay, so something weird is going on there, right?
It's really strange.
I blame it on Leslie Charteris.
Who is that?
The guy who wrote The Saint.
Okay, that's the TV show?
Simon Templar.
Oh, yeah. That was
Simon Templar. Is there a connection there? I wonder.
I'm sure there probably is. So anyway, one of the places that we talk about in the book is this place called HAARP, and it's all capitals, HAARP. And it's a place up in Alaska that, even though I did the research on it, and it was kind of hard to get some of the research for it, it's out in the middle of nowhere. And when you read what this place is, and you read about what the government said they were doing with it, it just didn't make any sense. So Arenado, seeing he's the UFO mechanic, took an interest in this. And so, Al, what is going on up there? Where is it, first of all? It's in near Barrows, Alaska or someplace?
Ganesha, Alaska.
Okay.
And it's on 42 acres. in the middle of nowhere.
Oh.
That's it.
And this thing was...
yeah, it's tiny.
It is. It's small. You know, the other place, that radio quiet zone in like Maryland and the Virginias is like thousands of acres.
13,000 square acres.
Yeah, like miles.
Yeah.
Right?
Square miles.
This thing is really small, but there's nothing around it. So I guess you don't need to own everything around it. But this thing is set up to study the ionosphere, in theory, okay?
Right.
So the Air Force built it. They ran it for 20 years. It cost them $300 million to build it.
Yes.
And then they abandoned it in 2015 and gave it to the University of Alaska, basically.
Wow.
Okay? Now, it's supposed to be the world's most capable, high-power, high-frequency transmitter for the study of the ionosphere.
Okay. Cover story.
Okay. So what it does is it temporarily excites limited areas of the ionosphere to study the physical presence of what happens when it gets excited by the sun.
Okay. All right. Yep.
So they spent hundreds of millions looking for this.
This is
thing.
the Air Force doing this.
Right. And then it was also deemed useful to study radio and space physics. There are 360 transmitters on the site.
It looks, it looks like an aluminum forest is what it looks like.
And it's like 30-something megawatt, they claim, output, but they say it can be pushed way, way, way beyond that. 180 antennas, and it has 5 generators on site. So people are saying a lot of things started happening once that thing came online because it actually bounces waves. It's, instead of being a receiver like the place in the Virginias, this thing is actually a transmitter. So it sends out signals, bounces them off the ionosphere, and they were supposed to be studying.
Right.
But now they're saying that, you know, there's different people are theorizing that the government's really trying to figure a way to weaponize the weather.
Right. Yeah, that's always
they're trying to affect the weather. And, you know, when I first started reading that, I went, yeah, it's pretty far-fetched. But then I started really looking it up, and there was just some physicists that actually went on like CBS News and talked about this. And they said if they've actually done it in, you know, in a
laboratory.
In a lab, yeah.
Right.
They've actually made it work.
Right.
They'll make it rain. They can change things. And now they're saying this thing is so powerful, it could actually bounce waves back 7 kilometers underground.
Right.
And this is the only one. There's like 22 of these
around the world.
Yep. This one is the most powerful, and it is the only one that can be aimed at a specific area. And it can be phased as an array to increase its power exponentially as it goes down the line. So the thing can put out serious power.
So they send an enormous amount of electricity into the sky, right?
Right. They actually they were actually calling it some kind of
and it bounces off the ionosphere and
goes
directed to where you want it directed.
But it's like 50,000 kilowatts or something.
Yeah, it's
some
crazy.
Incredible amount of electricity that they're bouncing around up there. And two of the things they said was, well, the weather, running the weather, is a lot of people believe that. And also they were thinking that it was a way to kind of like, they have radar penetrating, ground penetrating radar. Well, this is another way to see what is hidden 7, 8, miles below. It could be enemy bunkers, but it could be oil and that kind of stuff.
Well, the other thing they were saying, it could actually be aimed at a fault and cause earthquakes.
Cool.
So the other thing is they said what this one scientist kept referring to it as an atmospheric heater because it heated things up.
Yeah.
Because I guess you get all that stuff moving up there, and it really starts doing the job.
See, this is nuts, man. This is like Dr. No, 007 type stuff.
Right. So it's the phased array has 12 columns, 15 rows each of antennas, and they can be stacked, to fire and phased to keep the thing going as it goes down. So they say it can also interfere with radio signals. So it can disrupt satellite.
Sounds about right.
Can disrupt satellite communications anywhere in the world.
Yep.
And it could also, if you had missiles in the air, you could just disrupt their ability to talk to ground.
So the fact that they turned it over to the University of Alaska, I know that they were trying to keep it out of the headlines there for a while. I mean, they could just basically say, these people run it now, right?
Right. Well, I mean, they gave it fully functional to the university.
Wow.
And after, they spent $300 million on it, and they said because of lack of funding, they couldn't run it anymore, so they gave it away.
Okay. Sounds about right.
So the University of Alaska has enough money to run it.
Yeah.
But the Air Force don't. Can't get enough money. And the more I was reading about the thing, the more it's like, wow, this has the potential to do a lot of damage. They're saying even airplanes in flight, you can disrupt airplanes and all their electronics.
Yeah.
And, they even say one time when that thing was pushed to full power, it was at a time when Fukushima nuke came apart.
Oh, really? Yeah.
So,
oops.
Whoa. Ruh-roh. They said the Chinese one could have done that.
Yeah. So, go ahead, Jim, please.
They're blaming this for Fukushima.
Well, they're saying that the Chinese have a couple of versions of it also, and they could have, in theory, according to some sources, aimed it, to cause
by mistake
some kind of trouble.
Yep, by mistake. Who knows? But I mean,
you never know.
If the amount of energy, the amount of electricity that they're literally putting up into the atmosphere, it's just gigantic amount of electricity.
That's a lot of
heating stuff up. Heating. I mean, that's the whole idea. Is that's what's causing all these problems around the world? Is that the atmosphere is heating up, and here are these people heating it up
on purpose,
like crazy. So anyway, that was HOP. That's up in Alaska. And
hey, Mac.
Yes.
Al.
Yeah.
Go.
We can joke and laugh about University of Alaska and that it's a DARPA project, and one of my favorite government contractors, BAE. I worked with them.
Yes.
When they weren't called BAE. I mean, this talking about sucking off the teat, if you will, of the government. That's BAE for you.
Okay.
But who else is involved with this? Boston College, Penn State, Dartmouth, Cornell, University of Massachusetts in Amherst, Johns Hopkins University, and Polytech Institute of New York University.
Wow.
Everybody's involved in this thing.
Except for they're all
JJ spilling the tea over here. He knows all the ins and outs.
Except for Johns Hopkins, they're all powerhouse and college football teams.
That's right.
Yeah, I think there's a connection.
They're in their own class.
Anyway, so that's HOP, and the strange thing about it is that it's actually run by Kirkland Air Force Base, which is down in New Mexico. Okay, that's the command center for it because when, and we're going to be talking about that a little bit later in the show, when I tried to get a photograph, I had no problems getting a photograph of OP because they were just out there,
Right.
But because the people at Kirkland knew I was doing a story on OP, they refused to give me a picture of their front gate. Okay, so,
really?
Yeah, they said no.
The
just the front gate. That's all.
I just wonder what they were afraid of if you saw the front gate.
I don't know.
Really?
I don't know.
What would you do with that? I mean,
I don't know. But I think it's just their way of punishing me, as it turns out. But so anyway,
they're like just being dicks about it. They're just like, oh no, you can take this picture.
I could ask Agent X. What is he? Here he comes. He's coming back. Okay. What'd you go get a bowl of Cheerios? He's got a bowl of Cheerios, folks. Listen, have you ever heard of this place, OP, before I brought it up in the book? Have you ever heard of it?
I had heard of it, yeah.
What are they doing there? Tell us what they're really doing there.
As you know, spending so much time in the military, we all hear a bunch of rumors, right? But this place is an Air Force place. I was Army, and I was mostly overseas.
Okay.
But I still heard, rumors.
Come up on stay on that microphone there, Colonel.
I heard rumors about it, but nothing in more detail on this particular place. No.
Well, what was the rumor? Weather control?
The rumor was they would do. I love this expression, and I've used it before. They were conducting experiments there beyond the intellectual horizon.
Oh,
wow.
Yeah.
That's a great way to say nothing, isn't it?
That wasn't the first time I heard that expression.
Okay.
The other thing.
Is there something in particular that you feel that means beyond the intellectual horizon? I mean,
don't ask.
You're too stupid to understand is how I take it.
But Switchy has an even much more colorful expression for that. He calls it high weirdness. Is that correct?
High weirdness?
High strangeness.
High strangeness.
High strangeness,
Yeah.
Sorry.
Wow.
Last thing, real quick.
Go ahead.
They were saying that when a couple of the interviews I saw with the physicists when they were talking about this, they were saying, well, isn't it kind of far-fetched to think that they're going to really try to change the weather? And he said, it's been reported that back during the Vietnam War, the CIA was trying to figure out a way to make monsoons to drive the Viet Cong back because they would clobber them with the bad weather.
Well, they would seed the clouds. They were seeding the clouds over there. Yeah, that was a DARPA project, right? It didn't work too well. So then they said, well, why don't we just defoliate the whole country? That didn't work either.
Let's try napalm.
Yeah, right, yeah. But anyway, okay, so that's OP. That's one of the chapters in Beyond Area 51 on sale everywhere. A strange place. I think the funniest thing about that place is that they spend $300 million to build it, and then they don't have enough money to run it.
Yeah.
I mean, that could be true, or it could be just, kind of like
they cut
and
their
handing
funding.
it off to college students to run it.
And they give it to the college students. Yeah.
Maybe Alaska University was like, if we hold out long enough, those bozos will just give it to us.
Just give it to us.
Right.
There's two kinds of budgets. There's a capital budget and an operating budget.
Right.
Building it came out of the capital budget.
Right.
The operating budget is a totally different kettle of fish.
But if you spend $300 million on the thing, you should probably project in the future how long you're going to be able to run it, right?
You should.
It's not like you're spending, $15 on something.
So now they give it to the college, and they put a big sign over the big main power thing and says, "Don't go beyond this, or something real bad's going to happen."
Oh.
I mean, if it's got the immense power this thing's supposed to be able to generate, what they unhook half of it?
Yeah, really. Yeah.
I mean, they
how
said
about birds? How about birds flying over it? I bet you they get
probably
caught,
melts them as they go by.
They probably just or poof. Gone.
HAARP.
Yeah.
Okay. So listen now.
Seriously, there's probably a lot of that going on.
What I'm thinking now
It's
is
3.5 megawatts of power.
See, that's a lot.
Directed in the beam.
Yeah, a beam.
That can drive you nuts.
Well, they said that's.
Can you imagine if college radio was?
Yeah,
all
there you
of
go.
college stations get college radio plugged into that, and they're experimenting with how many tracks of a certain band can affect the weather.
Right.
Well,
Yeah.
they said that you could do mind control in theory with that kind of power, and they said even though it says it, all of their specs say it'll do 3.5, they said they can push that thing to exponentially beyond that.
Sure.
With a little bit of sleight of hand,
Right.
and they can pour far more power into that thing that it was ever designed for.
A megawatt is a lot of power. That runs like a small city, So.
Oh, yeah.
That's in the hand of college students.
Yeah.
Sure.
Now it's all these like stoners.
Right.
Hey, watch this.
What's this? Push that button.
Dude, let's see what happens.
Well qualified. I mean, we're talking, the top colleges.
All right. Look. Now
I'm
that we're
surprised that UMass is in the list, but they are.
Now that we're in the mood, I think we're in the mood for our crystal ball. Raven's crystal ball. Raven has a crystal ball and she knows how to use it. And
Dude.
tonight's victim.
Okay, let me just zhuzh myself up a
Let
little
me
bit.
ask you a question first about a crystal ball, because
Go ahead.
Eileen mentioned that her mother used to have a crystal ball.
Okay.
Did you have to have it like cleansed or blessed or something done with it by other witches or something like that before you can use it?
Washed with holy water.
No. Whenever there's a full moon, I put my crystals and my crystal ball and my tarot cards, I put them outside and then I let them charge under the full moon.
Okay.
That's how I've always done it. It works for me. Other people might have different things that they prefer, but that's what I do.
I'm going to get a crystal ball, and I'm going to do that, and I'm going to try to predict the NFL every weekend. Why not, right?
Bet on Brady.
Bet on Brady.
There's got to be a way to do that.
Just don't take the points.
It's got to be.
Yeah, don't take the points.
I know Raven will say it doesn't work that way, but it's got to be a way.
They all say that. But, all right, so look.
If you find someone that can do it, then let me know.
We're all going to Vegas. All right, look, it's time now to fry X's noodle. We're picking on X tonight for, who knows why. So, Raven, his birthday, you can look into your crystal ball. Tell us what we want to know about X, stuff that he doesn't even know himself. Please, Raven.
Yeah. So X's birthday is February 3rd, and this is the day of exacting realism. Mm-hmm. He is an Aquarius, just like our friend Mack, and he's an air sign. He's ruled by the number 3 and Jupiter. So X, you are very realistic about what you can and cannot do, and pay painstaking attention to the details of your profession. You have a fine sense of timing. Usually picking the exact right moment to make your move in business or love. You tend to have an easy come, easy go attitude. So when things don't work out for you, it's really not a big deal to drop it and move on.
I think you got his birthday wrong.
That quick adaptation.
I think you got his birthday wrong, Raven. Nothing's sticking on the wall here, but go ahead, please.
No, wait.
Okay.
Raven.
Yes.
You are just so perfect.
Oh God, yeah, right.
Driving the way it works.
That easy,
exactly correct.
Easy does it attitude.
And the only thing you left off is Jupiter is the king of gods. Jupiter, Zeus, Odin, all the same thing. Well done, Raven.
Okay, continue, Raven. She's only halfway through. I can tell.
There you go.
Oh,
there you have it.
Yeah, there's more.
There's more.
By all means. Oh, I don't know.
You are often sought out by women in need of comfort or assistance. You have fulfilled this role many times in your life, but it is important to remember that these damsels in distress look at you as kind of a fatherly or grandfatherly figure. As to them, you represent a gentle, non-threatening male. So when this happens, always remember romance is definitely not in the air.
Where's that happy-go-lucky attitude now?
How's that working for you now?
I also have your strengths. You are technical, detailed, and you can be a perfectionist. Weaknesses, you can be emotionally difficult or self-indulgent.
Well, there you go now.
Your tarot card I have right here for you. You are the Empress. This is a beautiful card.
The Empress.
This symbolizes creative intelligence. And you also share a birthday with Norman Rockwell, well-known artist.
Cool.
Lillian Armstrong, jazz musician.
Okay.
Bob Grease, Miami Dolphins
Bob Greasy.
quarterback.
Yep.
Bob Greasy.
Sure. Yep. And Dave Davies, he's a musician from the Kinks.
Dave
and
Davies of
Morgan
the Kinks.
Fairchild, an actress.
Okay.
And your meditation mantra is non-attachment is a good thing, but one can become attached to that as well.
Wow. Okay, man.
Whoa.
That's pretty fun.
She got your number.
Except for
Not bad,
looking
actually.
at me as a father or grandfather.
All right. No.
The rest of it went right on. Very well done.
Ruh-roh.
I have to confess that I helped Raven put that together because
See?
I know. Now this is I'm just throwing gasoline on this massive ego fire. Right up on the microphone there, will you please, Colonel? Because I told her off air our Hampton Beach story. Now I don't know if that's politically.
What's that story?
Well, I don't know if it's something we should tell them here. Do you want to tell? Should I tell that story? Because it proves to me.
You do it. You're the famous author with over 60
All right,
books.
so I've heard for years, how he has been in these positions around the world. This is X. And strange, beautiful women will come up to him out of the blue and ask him for assistance. All right? I know that there was an Asian beauty in a gas station who asked you to pump her gas. You had to get, you helped some woman get in her apartment. Who the heck knows? But there's 4 or 5 stories. Anytime we're down the Coleman drinking, I hear them over and over. Okay? And I just figured, okay, that's the way it is. That's the way it is. Because he's been known to brag every once in a while. We're down Hampton Beach once. It was like a Friday afternoon in August, 2 or 3 years ago. We're down there to see No Belly Button Man's band playing at the half show.
Oh, cool.
All right? There's thousands of people around on the street, everything. These 2 beauty queens in bikinis walk up to him and say to him, "Can you carry our beach chairs for us?" And there he goes for 2 hours. I don't see him for 2 hours.
Wow.
We're in his car. I'm waiting at the bar for him because he's got the keys. All right. So it happens, is what I'm saying. Yeah.
Touche.
Unbelievable.
Mac only added in one part to that.
Right.
Everything else was from my knowledge.
I put in the father and grandfatherly thing.
We had to do that.
But it does happen. I hate to say it, but it does happen because I saw it happen. I'm like, what the heck is going on here? And there he goes. He says, he says, I told you it happened. And then he disappears into the crowd of French girls in bikinis.
Wow.
Okay. Anyway. All right.
A man among men.
So
There you are, Mac, eating fried dough, and he's going off with the ladies.
I know, really.
I was like, yes, I'll have another Mai Tai, please. I'm looking for my friend.
Wow.
Anyway, okay. One afternoon in Hampton Beach. Who knew? Wow. All right, so why don't we take a commercial break now, and we'll be right back after this. You're listening to Mack Maloney's Mill Tracks, our show here on the Distant Thunder Radio Network. We'll be right back.
We've all heard of Area 51, the U.S. government's top secret base in the Nevada desert. But have you ever heard of Area 52 or 53 or 54? 54? How about Tonopah Test Range or the Navy's secret base inside the Bermuda Triangle? Find out about them and more in Mack Maloney's Beyond Area 51, Mysteries of the World's Most Forbidden Places. Did Richard Nixon show Jackie Gleason a crashed alien spaceship near the swamps of Florida? Is it true that more UFOs are seen over a small Scottish village than anywhere else in the world? And is there a secret place in Russia that some people think is heaven on earth? In Mack Maloney's Beyond Area 51, you'll visit more than a dozen top secret places around the globe. The haunted forests of New Jersey, A valley in Colorado where shadows come alive and humans can fly without wings. And where's the only secret base in America that's not been visited by UFOs? You've heard Mack talk all about these places on his radio show. Now you can read all about them yourself. That's Mack Maloney's Beyond Area 51, Mysteries of the World's Most Forbidden Places. Now on sale at Amazon.
Hey fans, Lois Lane here, and I think it's time for you to get some free swag from Mack Maloney's Military X-Files show. We have badges, pins, bar coasters, and some very cool 3D show logos that we just can't wait to give away. Just go to mackmaloney.com and hit the contact button. Send us an email with your mailing address, and we'll ship the free swag out to you quicker than Switch can eat breakfast. That's mackmaloney.com and hit the contact button to get your free swag today. Requests for tasteful news of Wanwan will be handled on a case-by-case basis.
Welcome back, everyone, to Mack Maloney's Military X-Files show here on the Distant Thunder Radio Network. This is Mack Maloney. Wow, what a show we have for you tonight. We're featuring tonight a book that I wrote a few years ago called Beyond Area 51. It's just a collection of places around the world that are like Area 51 but are not Area 51. And I can just tell you, like off the top of my head, there's a number of them in Nevada, in the Nevada desert. There's one called Tonopah Test Range, which is like one of the most secret places in the United States, and you've hardly heard of it. It's where they test real top-secret aircraft and weapons. There's another place, Kirkland Air Force Base down in New Mexico, which we'll be talking about in a little while. All kinds of crazy things have gone on there. The St. Louis Valley is a place in a corner of Colorado, surrounded by military bases, but very, very strange things happen there. Raven's going to be telling us about them soon. There's ARTEC, which is the Navy's Area 51, which just happens to be not in the United States at all. It's in the Bahamas, right in the middle of the Bermuda Triangle. That's the weirdest thing about this book when I was doing press for it, as they say. They'd say, you're saying that the Navy's Area 51 is in the middle of the Bermuda Triangle in the Bahamas, and that's exactly where it is. Okay, so as strange as that seems, also a number of places in England, we go on this search on where is England's Area 51, because England is just such a small place. How could you hide something like that? And we came up with a bunch of suspects, let's say. Very strange things in Russia, as Jim was telling us in the earlier segment. Very, very odd things in Russia. Secret bases there, places where the KGB wouldn't let civilians go in for years. When they finally let them go in, this place called the M Triangle in Urals, people go in there and they're sick and they get cured. They go in there dumb and they come out smart. It's very strange. There's a place there where it's called the phone booth, but it's just this like square yard of land that if you stand in this place, you can make a cell phone call to anywhere in the world. People camp out in the forest and they hear traffic going by. They've recorded traffic going by, and even though they're in the forest. It's the craziest place, called the M Triangle in Russia. And people called heaven on earth. Very quickly, I told this story a couple of weeks ago. There was a guy, when the wall came down, they finally let people go into the M Triangle. They let scientists and researchers go in. The third or fourth caravan that went in included a person from People magazine and this guy who was a journalist from Moscow who got drummed out of the Soviet army for God knows why. And I can tell you, the Soviet army, they'll take anyone. You get a heartbeat, you're in the army now, right? He got bounced out of the army, became a journalist, went to the M Triangle for the 2 weeks, and the People reporter kind of took up his story. Now, he came out of the M Triangle and went back to Moscow, wrote his story, and started having he got an immediate knowledge of astrophysics. Okay, he never went to school, nothing. And a year and a half later, he was a cosmonaut. Okay.
Wow.
So
That is very strange.
dumb guy gets drummed out of the Soviet Army, and one trip to the M Triangle, he's a cosmonaut less than 3 years later. Now, I don't know.
I got to tell you, Jim said earlier, it's a place you go in and you immediately feel good once you're there.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Sounds to me like an Irish pub.
Well, I was going to say, Lynn, Massachusetts. You don't go in the way you came
come out very smart there.
Yes.
Anyway. So
It's smart.
So that's what the book is about. It's like strange places like that, very and other odd places in Russia too. But this place, St. Louis Valley, which is in Colorado, it's a high desert in Colorado. I think in the lower left-hand corner, so that'd be the southwest portion. And
yes,
a lot of very strange stuff goes on there. Chris O'Brien, who is an author who has written about this extensively, and he's also used to be in a punk band in Boston called. They might have been called the Pubes or something, who knows? But they were a punk band.
Shut up.
Something in a rhyme like that. But he's been on the show in the past, and he can tell some really crazy stories. But Raven, you read about it today, right?
I did. I reread it because I wanted to make sure I was fresh.
Go ahead.
You're checking on the band name, right?
That was the one thing I didn't read.
I think it was the Strokes, to tell you the truth. The Strokes.
The Strokes.
Okay.
They are not from Boston.
There we go. Go ahead.
So the San Luis, am I saying that right?
I think it's San Louis.
Valley?
San Louis Valley.
San Louis.
Louis? Okay.
Louis.
I just want to make sure.
Yes,
this has been something that people have reported, strange lights, strange sounds. There have been reports of not even sounds, but you can feel things almost vibrating through your body. Cattle mutilations, reports of missing time, seeing UFO-like objects in the sky, seeing shadows when it's pitch black outside and there's no sunlight, so there's nothing that would even be creating this. It's pretty wild. I really liked a few of the chapters that Mack wrote, specifically, not chapters, I'm sorry, excerpts. Mm-hmm. The mysterious yellow helicopter was, for some reason,
crazy
like shook me to my core.
Yeah.
That is so strange.
I'll just tell it real quick. Let me just tell the story real quick. So this is like the type of thing that happens there. First of all, it's very close to NORAD. It's very close to where the Space Command now has their headquarters, and there's like 4 or 5, semi-secret military bases around this place. Why? If that makes any difference, who knows, right? So anyway, if I remember the story right, there's a helicopter flying around there. That's a helicopter that's from the MASH days, okay? So the early 50s. And Coco has been on many times and said that thing about helicopter, an airplane can fly forever. Helicopters just fall apart because they got so many moving parts, and they're always coming up with better ways to, to build them. So that's why you don't see vintage helicopters like you do see vintage airplanes, And so there was this story about how there's this farmer, a lot of farmland out there, and people are spread out too. And they saw this yellow helicopter go over their house, and they go, wow, this is strange. And it landed on their property. By the time they got down to their property, it had gone, but their prize bull, which I'm sure, probably costs, a couple G's anyway, right?
That's a lot of cake, yeah.
He's there dead.
Easily.
He's there dead, and his sex organs are gone or something, right? Something weird like that.
Sex organs are gone. His eyes are gone, and his anus is scooped out.
His anus is scooped out, as I say.
Everything.
Right? That's how veterinarians.
Do you hate it when that happens?
Yeah. Right.
Wow. We're looking
Another
for
thing too is it was flying very low.
Very low.
From what this family reported. I mean, it was 40 feet above their head, which is insane.
It was full of bull organs.
The way back was
so it was in a rear end collision with the bull.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
So here's the weird thing. So the way when Chris O'Brien used to live there, and he would run into these neighbors, but not every day because everyone is kind of spread out. So somehow he gets this story, if I remember the story right, and he writes it, and he's in his house, either talking to someone on the phone about it, something really, and this is sometime afterwards, right? And he hears this noise
it's
outside.
Like 13 years later, and he was doing either research
or rewriting a book,
writing about it.
And he hears this noise. He looks out, and there's the friggin' yellow helicopter over his house.
Wow.
I know.
Did he sit down fast?
I mean, wow. I mean, that's just one of the strange things that happened in this place. And the other thing, too, if I could just bring this up, too, is what they did was people out there, it's funny, he would run into people and they say, oh, by the way, I saw a UFO, 6 months ago. I forgot to call you. Because weird stuff happens all the time. And they see animals there that are only, should be in South America. They've seen humans flying, like if you had a jetpack or whatever, but, no jetpack. They've seen Bigfoot. They see UFOs all the time. All this shadow people, which to me is crazy because you're in your house and you see a shadow on the wall and no one is there. To me, that's very
And this
creepy.
has become normal for this community.
Yeah, it's weird. It's strange.
They don't even bat an eye at it. They're just like, oh, yeah, like this happened the other day, like talking about like it's on their grocery list.
Right. Yeah, it's in a very weird place. And it was it was a place, it was so sacred to Native Americans that, there were actually Native American nations within the United States. I mean, they were like conglomeration of tribes, right? Well, this is the holy land for 3 Native American nations. That's how holy this place was. And all this kind of strange things happened. So what they did one day was, and this is in the book Beyond Area 51 on sale everywhere, was people would notice these weird lights over an old graveyard in this small little town. Remember this story? And and people would say, what's causing that? What's causing that? So one night, they all got together and they said, let's turn every light off in the town and see if it's some reflection or something like that. And they did, and they still saw the lights.
Like it was like glowing.
Yeah. So, yes.
And it's like some type of, I don't want to say a hub, but it's
like
a conduit
or something. Yeah, something very strange is going on there.
Yeah.
A portal, something.
Or something. And the fact that it's
secret portal.
It's surrounded by these military bases too. So they see a lot of military activity there. There's like a firing range on one side, but it's a huge place. And he said one of the weirdest things about it's just a natural thing though, is that it's high desert, which you don't see very often. Very high, and the clouds actually are sometimes only like 3 or 4 feet off the ground. So they'll have like these big cumulus clouds, but they're very close to the ground. He says it's just a very creepy place, and he had people break in his house and steal his manuscript and stuff, and there was a lot of drama going on there. So the St. Louis Valley, what the heck is going on? I mean, did I get it all, Raven, or did we get it all? What else?
Yeah, you did a really
What else
good
intrigued
job.
you about it?
Can I interject something?
Go ahead, please.
Yeah.
I knew Rosemary Ellen Guiley, who we lost a couple of years ago. She was out several years with Chris O'Brien doing an investigation in that area. And she told us that one night they were in an undisclosed area, and they started to see these like long serpent-like things, translucent, coming in and out of the ground. And they decided to get the hell out of there. They had no idea what it was. It wasn't solid. It wasn't physical.
Yeah.
But it was some kind of a phenomena or apparition that was connected to the San Luis Valley.
Well, they had these.
We saw that movie, Steve. It was called Tremors.
Tremors.
They made about
it's a great movie.
These apparently didn't have
really
any teeth.
good.
Kevin Bacon and Reba McEntire. Really good movie, crazy movie. But they had like things like they would see these mystery lights that would show up on the peaks of the mountains that would go by, and they'd like spelt out words and stuff and messages and. Just like
they did. There was several people, reported seeing that the letter G was projected into the sky, and then they saw O and D, G-O-D, and they thought it was spelling out God.
Right.
But then other people that were farther away from them saw. I'm thinking it was probably they saw it at a different angle, or
maybe it was dog,
maybe a trick of the mind or something. But they saw it as DOD.
Now, if you DOD, the Department of Defense,
there you go,
the new advertising campaign.
Yeah, exactly.
Crazy.
Is this still going on right now?
It goes on. It's nonstop there. Yeah, it's nonstop. Like even stuff like, for instance, they find there's some kind of animal that's down in the forest of South America, not Central America, South America. It's kind of like a little bear, like a koala bear or something. I forget what it's called. Okay, so they find them. They find like dead carcasses of them in the St. Louis Valley, thousands of miles away. Which, nuts.
Yeah. How did they get there?
They're not migratory, so
they're not migratory. No,
I don't think they got there on their own.
Weird. And then there's a famous story. I don't know. We talked about off here whether we should talk about this with the Snippy the horse. Should we just let people find that out for themselves?
The horse's name actually was Lady.
What was it?
The person that wrote up the article thought it would be cute to call her Snippy for obvious reasons, if you know the story.
Oh, no.
Oh. Well, there was. It was. Yeah, go ahead.
Maybe we should let people find out about
find
it
out
on their
yourself.
own. I thought it was Snippy.
Snippy. Yeah, Snippy the horse.
Well, it was written up in Fate magazine years ago, and what they call it Snippy.
No.
They call it Snippy.
Oh, yeah. Back in the 60s, 70s, whatever.
Yeah. What is
67.
No,
So let that be a tease for those who
Snippy
are going to reach out and buy the book.
went on to run a successful.
It's a horse of a different color.
There you go. A successful series of vasectomy.
Bada boom.
I don't know. Snippy and who knows? We'll cut
Well,
that
the
out.
article slices right to the point.
There you go. Now, thank you, Switchy, for saving
Cuts to the
me.
quick.
My pleasure.
Anyway,
So if you want to look at that further, obviously with the aliens, there's some animal harm.
Right, yeah, something. And this whole thing about, animal mutilations and stuff like that, I just don't get, because I keep thinking, what keeps coming back to me is that if you have this entity that has a technology that can fly around in UFOs, come from who knows where, do all these things that we see them doing, why would they need to core out the anus of a bull? You know what I mean? They would know everything. Why would they need to do something like that? They would know everything.
Well, maybe one inhabitant of the spacecraft, whoever it was accused of slinging some BS.
Go ahead.
So he went down there and said,
Got some.
I got some.
No BS. I'll show you BS.
Yeah, here you go. Right. Okay.
Went down and got the real thing.
Juan, that's a crap idea.
That could be. You never know. Jim, do you have any
We want to
ideas?
spur the moment.
Jim, do you have any ideas on animal mutilation by UFOs, aliens?
I think it's all people.
People.
I think it's all people, and they're blaming it on the aliens because the aliens can't talk
Defend
back.
themselves.
They can't be prosecuted.
Yeah.
Can't talk
Oh,
back. Can't talk
that's a
back.
sick
Don't
thing
have
to
a
do
good
to an
public
animal.
relations organization.
There are some sick people. I mean,
Oh, yeah.
listen,
That's true.
it's well established that people who like serial killers and stuff like that, they start out mutilating animals
Yes.
when they're kids.
Right.
So it's not unknown.
Yeah.
That's very true. Yeah. Points have been made.
But I'll tell you, if I was a serial killer in making, and I wouldn't want to take a bull on as my first, victim, right? How do you, how can
Not
you
unless
have
he
to,
was tied down.
I was going
to
to say, how do you have him sit still long enough? To do something?
Well, it could be a final
move.
exam for that serial killer.
Don't move. This won't hurt a bit.
Don't move. Yes, that is my helicopter.
Don't move.
Yeah, right. Here we go. Okay, so wow.
Leave the cows alone.
Why don't we?
Damn it. I love cows.
Yes.
I know they're so cute.
That's what they
We
were
love the
thinking
emus
too.
don't we?
Cute. Yeah. Okay.
Emus are adorable.
Don't forget the ferrets.
They
The
smell
ferrets I love.
All right. Why don't we do this?
And I'm a bearded dragon fan, by the way. I just want to let you know.
Oh, really? Are they a new
Yep.
band? Is that a new band that you're listening to?
I've got 2 clients that have them as pets in their office.
Oh, really? Yeah.
I'm hoping everybody here loves the lobsters and loves to see the lobsters run free.
Yes.
Oh yeah! Every time I go to
Right.
the
Who
grocery
wants to
store,
see a lobster
I
get
want
thrown
to
in a
pull them
pot?
out of the
Yes.
out of the
I
tank.
know, exactly.
You know, I always freaked out when I see lobsters get thrown in the pot.
Can
They're
you hear the
alive.
little scream?
They scream
There's all that
too.
little
That's-
scream.
Yeah.
They literally scream, and it's
Yes.
horrifying.
Oh, it makes them taste better.
This is,
Come on.
this is supposedly a true story, but Mac can
Go ahead.
confirm. There was an English lord in the early 1900s
Steve Wood.
when
Go ahead.
everybody was walking their pets, their cats and their ocelots and their hounds and all that. He had a lobster on a leash that he walked.
Oh, really?
That's
No
Was he
way.
fattening them up for a lobster roll
No,
someday? Is that
how
what
do
he
you
was
fatten
doing?
them up? By walking them around on the
I
street.
don't know. Build muscles.
That was his pet.
Yes. Okay. And then did he eat them at the end? What's the punchline?
Oh, you don't eat your pets.
No, you
Come
don't
on.
eat your
Of
pet.
course you
You
do.
don't eat your pets.
Where do you think Coco Zeppelin is going? What do you think? You're going to just keep him around for?
He's going to keep Zeppelin.
You
Zeppelin.
wanted a pig in this house? Come on, that
They
thing
call him
is.
bacon. They call
That's
him
a hey.
Zeppelin.
Listen. Yeah.
Zeppelin is a pet.
That
Thank
is
you,
funny.
Juan.
If you don't see him after Easter,
Yeah,
you know what happened.
No, you see him with 3 legs.
3 legs. That's right.
Because a pig that good, you don't eat all at
You don't
once.
know you know all at once. That's an old freaking Henning Hungman joke. Holy cow. Henning
You
Hungman.
guys are so mean.
Yikes. All right.
Raven and I are so nice.
Let's
but,
just go to the Catskills.
You're right
Get it over with.
We
So
get
look,
it. Yep.
why don't we do
No,
this?
I'm on your side about the animals, and I'm on Raven's side. We want to save the animals.
Juan
Every time we
gets
go
it.
down this
X
road,
gets it.
I become a vegetarian. For
Yes,
about
there's the
2
guy who
hours.
inhales 2 hamburgers in like 30 seconds. You know, you kill more cattle than aliens do every year with the hamburgers you eat. It's you.
My older brother was a Navy diver back in the early 70s out of San Diego.
Actually, very famous guy.
I was out visiting one time. He came home from a day of work with a 14-pound lobster.
Really? Yeah.
And it was a spiny lobster, so it was not, it didn't have claws. So you can imagine how big the body had to be to bring the thing up to 14 pounds. Wow. And he brought it home, and we're looking at it. And the way we ended up having it for dinner was we bought a brand new trash can and put it on all 4 burners of the stove to get it hot enough. Yeah, it was that big. It needed something that big to get him in.
Wow.
And so I put him in the sink first, and I put him in with a bottle of wine. And I got him good and loosened up. So,
was he still alive when you were getting away in bath?
Oh, yeah. When he went in, he went in. But I'll tell you what, that's
interesting.
The first
I
time.
If he was a Navy diver, he would have
first time in my life
with a full dolphin, 195-pound dolphin.
They taste good too.
You know what the squids do with dolphins?
Yeah,
they eat them.
They eat them, of course they do.
Oh, no.
They're great with French fries.
In the Army.
Tartar sauce. Okay.
When we cut this guy up.
Yes.
It was like a loaf of his tail.
A loaf of bread.
It was like a loaf of bread.
Wow.
We were cutting out chunks. I mean, it's the first time and probably only time in my life I had more lobster than I could eat. We just sat there and you could, like, his legs were so big you could stick your finger down through them to clean them out. That's how big this guy.
Quite a visual there, Al.
I can't even look in their face.
Jesus.
When they're swimming around
just turn them around. Turn them around. Put them
They're
in.
so cute. All I want to do is pull them out and just throw them and say, get out.
There you go.
Take him down to Newburyport or the beach and let them free.
Luckily, the English Lord did.
Wow.
But he put a leash on him.
Okay.
Yeah.
On that note,
him and rehabilitated.
Why don't
That's so bougie to have a lobster on a leash, though.
It's terrible.
Like, oh, here's my pet.
I haven't had
Hold
lobster
my
in a long
caviar.
I mean, wouldn't that kill the lobster being out of the water for so long?
Yes.
Well, he only did it for short periods.
Then
he had a tank of water with him in a baby carriage.
Right. Then he'd spray them down every once in a while.
Yeah. Spritz them every now and then.
Listen, why don't we regroup, take a commercial break now, and we'll be right back after this. You're listening to Mack Maloney's Military Exile Show here on the Distant Thunder Radio Network. We'll be right back after a special show tonight featuring Beyond Area 51, on sale everywhere.
I was in the hospital with my son for 18 months.
When he got injured, I wasn't prepared, but I knew I had to be strong.
When I was told about John's injury, I was in complete shock. I just remember rushing into his room and giving him a big hug and letting him know I was there.
These veterans and families are just a few of the heroes we serve at Homes for Our Troops. For thousands of severely injured veterans, everyday life is filled with barriers.
It was really the little things throughout the house. Counters that you can't roll up to. I had to drag my wheelchair down steps.
I want to help, but he is so determined.
At Homes for Our Troops, we build specially adapted custom homes with features like wheelchair access, roll-in showers, and automatic door openers that allow them to function independently and focus on their recovery and family.
This house is freedom. It's hope. It's a new beginning.
This house has given me my family back.
To learn more, visit hfotusa.org.
We've all heard of Area 51, the U.S. government's top secret base in the Nevada desert. But have you ever heard of Area 52 or 53 or 54? 54? How about Tonopah Test Range or the Navy's secret base inside the Bermuda Triangle? Find out about them and more in Mack Maloney's Beyond Area 51, Mysteries of the World's Most Forbidden Places. Did Richard Nixon show Jackie Gleason a crashed alien spaceship near the swamps of Florida? Is it true that more UFOs are seen over a small Scottish village than anywhere else in the world? And is there a secret place in Russia that some people think is heaven on earth? In Mack Maloney's Beyond Area 51, you'll visit more than a dozen top secret places around the globe. The haunted forests of New Jersey, a valley in Colorado where shadows come alive and humans can fly without wings. And where's the only secret base in America that's not been visited by UFOs? You've heard Mack talk all about these places on his radio show. Now you can read all about them yourself. That's Mack Maloney's Beyond Area 51, Mysteries of the World's Most Forbidden Places. Now on sale at Amazon.
Here on the Distant Thunder Radio Network, this is Mack Maloney. What a show we've had so far tonight. We're doing a special tonight on a book called Beyond Area 51. Go on Amazon and get it. We're talking about it for the entire show tonight. Basically, it's a book about all these different places around the world, very strange places around the world that are kind of like Area 51, but are not Area 51. I mean, the funny thing about Area 51 is it's like the most famous secret base in the world, right? Everyone's heard about it. Everyone knows where it is. They've seen movies, books, TV shows, news reports. So, how secret is it? What they do there is secret. But there are other places in the Nevada test range, they call it, this huge part of Nevada that the government owns. And, people have referred to them. They're not by this name, but, what they say, there's Area 52, there's Area 53, Area 54, places you haven't heard of. And
Studio 54.
All right. And
Car 54.
Car 54. And that
Where
place,
are you?
That place, we're in Nevada. That place, Tonopah, which we talked about, is right near Reno, and this is an air base out in the middle of nowhere, and some of the stuff they do there is just like really nuts. And what's funny about, I remember when I was, researching it, was that of all these bases around the world, now this was really strange. All of them had some kind of a UFO history, and it was always like, well, what came first type thing. But all of them had some kind of UFO history about them. Every base that we talk about, Russian, Chinese, American, whatever, except Tonopah Air Force Base out in the middle of the desert near Reno. It's about halfway between it's about halfway between Tahoe and Vegas is Reno. So a lot of people would stay overnight there, let's say. A very strange place, too. But outside of that town is this place. And, like, for instance, this is what they did. Remember the stealth fighter, right? So the stealth fighter was first unveiled in about 1990 or so. But it had been flying around for 10 years. They flew it around Tonopah Air Base. They put these designations on it to make it look like it was a completely different airplane. And they flew for 10 years, and no one said a word. No one said a word, The people in the town worked there. They knew what was going on. And, of course, the military people did. No one said a word. All kinds of really crazy secret stuff goes on there now. What's weird is it also bills itself as the best place in the country to go stargazing. If you're an amateur astronomer or something, this is the place to go. So they get like thousands of people there, and no one ever sees UFOs there. Now, think about that for a second. Yeah. Every other place, Area 51.
California, right?
Kirkland.
Or Arizona.
Luke Air Force Base in California, that place that Coco goes to, that proving ground there in Utah. All these weird things happen. They all have some kind of UFO connection. Yet this place, where the skies are so clear that people go there to look at the stars, they have no UFO reports there. That's strange, I mean, who knows why? Maybe they know better not to go there because so many people have telescopes or something, who knows? But
well, it's like they don't want to provide proof.
Your subject, Tonopah?
Yes.
I'm just going to tell everybody here, Mack, when he says he does the research, he really does the research. He reached out to me and asked me if I'd ever heard of it, and I said, hell no. And he said, do you know anybody that ever has?
Oh, that's right.
I had a friend of mine, a person I was working with at the time, who was a pilot from the Vietnam War, and he had been assigned there. And you and Phil had a conversation on the phone. And so you really do your due diligence. Anybody thinks you don't do research, you really do it.
I also found out that in the town of Tonopah, the biggest motel there is called the Clown Motel and has like this huge clown on top. And there's like is there every year, that type of place, There's a lot of glamour to it.
Let's go there. The rooms are all like decorated. I'll go there. Yeah. I don't care.
They were all done in clown, different clown.
Let's do a show from there.
I'm not going alone.
Oh, no.
I'll spoon you, don't worry.
Okay.
Wow.
So don't go there if you're a bozo.
So, and I remember one thing that he told me was, and he didn't like tell me, but he got me thinking was that, so what they used to do is when they were flying the stealth fighter, and they knew that the Russians were flying satellites over the place, right? Because they know where it is. So they would put these other airplanes out there called A-7 airplanes. They were planes that used in Vietnam. They were old. They were given to the National Guard, and they were like no big deal, right? And that was the number, that was the IFF frequency that the stealth fighters used were these A-7s, okay? So they used to put the A-7s out on the runway so the Russians would take pictures of them and say, what are they doing what are they doing? And it's kind of like a way to screw with them, right? Yeah. So when I talked to him, I said to him, so what's, so what do they put out what do they put out there now? What are they doing now that they try to fool you into thinking you're doing something? He says they put out like dozens of captured Russian SAM missile batteries and stuff like that.
Yes.
Yeah. Wow. And it was kind of like, F you. Look what we got.
Yeah.
So, who knows? Very crazy place. Yeah, Tonopah. Tonopah Test Range is what it's called. So, we should do it. do a broadcast from the Clown Motel. That'd be interesting.
I
know
people. Maybe they're on Airbnb and we can get a sweet deal.
Oh, that'd be great.
Oh,
yeah,
great.
yeah.
I know people that are terrified of clowns.
Yeah,
They really, really
me too, yeah.
won't even go near anything.
Yeah.
Scared by Bozo as a child.
Right. There's a Halloween store up right up in Seabrook.
Go ahead.
They open up in an empty, like a Kmart that closed down, and they open out only for a month.
Yes.
I went in there yesterday.
We have them around here.
Go ahead.
I went in there yesterday, and they have a lot of clown stuff, creepy clowns.
Listen, if there's ever going to be a place that sold creepy clown stuff, it would be Seabrook.
Seabrook, New Hampshire.
Frankly. Okay.
Exactly.
So anyway, look.
Home of the nuclear power plant.
Right.
Exactly.
Right, exactly. You might have heard me twice do this segment opening. Who knows? We'll find out in the cutting room. But anyway, I don't remember saying this. So, girls, Juan is here. Very famous one.
Yeah, I'm here. Been here all this time. I'm enjoying every minute of it.
Yes. Good for you.
This is a funny show.
Wow. Yeah, it sure is. I think Bob the Ghost
Weird
is here
stuff.
too. Just to top things off, Bob the Ghost, I think, is.
Yeah, I heard something out there. Yeah.
Did you? Yeah, did you?
I did hear a bang out there. Yes.
See, that's another thing. We're in this place that the guy who was the engineer was here. He came here every day for 30 years. He lived 2 houses down, and he drops friggin' dead here. What, about 2 months before we got here or something? Is that true? Is that what happened?
Something like that. Yeah.
Yeah. And we've been in here where the lights are blinking and the doors are open. We see people, we don't know who they are and stuff. I mean, that stuff is.
I saw him walk by in khakis and go to the back door, and I thought it was somebody picking up the trash or something.
There you go. He's a very well dressed.
I was concerned about not concerned about the guy, but is he locking the doors or does he know who we are or something like that? And
he's a well dressed ghost. He had his Dockers on, right?
And according to the owner of the station, there's nobody in the building except us.
See, that's the thing is that we, next day we talk to the owner and we go, hey, we saw this guy. And he's going, who? and to get in here is you have to kind of get by the bell and all that stuff. You hear people, you hear people coming in. So, and we just heard a weird noise outside. Al, you want to go out there? Want to go out and
I will go
secure the area, see what's going on out there?
Just to make sure.
If we hear him scream, this would be funny, won't it? Take a look around there. There he goes. Boy, he's a brave guy. It does get kind of creepy.
He's got his 25 auto.
Well, that's true. He's armed. What am I doing? Of course, Al is armed. So anyway.
Can you kill a ghost with a 25 auto?
We'll find out. Let's find out.
I don't think you can kill a mouse with a 25 auto.
Just don't hit the window, Al, okay? So listen, meanwhile, while Al's out there, also, Switchblade Steve Ward is with us. Switchy, how you doing?
Great to be here.
Your hair looks fabulous tonight. Can I say that? Your hair looks fabulous, Switch.
What's that?
Your hair looks fabulous.
Oh.
Third time. Okay.
He really pays attention to his hair, and I like the guy that does that.
He does.
Looks like Mike Pence's hair.
Oh.
It's just the way it turns out.
Wow.
Now, if Club was here, he'd be accusing me of another rug.
Yeah, right. Of course. Hero is back.
It's a rug. It looks nice, but it's a rug.
We're ghost free, Al?
We're ghost free. The doors are locked. Nothing funny going on.
Excellent.
But I got to tell you one thing.
Go ahead.
There's an awful lot of offices in this place.
Yeah, I know. It's weird. Yeah.
This building has a lot of offices. Yeah, I didn't even dare go downstairs.
No.
But, I mean, for a radio station, there's an awful lot of overhead.
It can happen.
There's a lot of people.
Hey, listen,
people are supposed to be selling advertising all day long.
Is that what they're doing?
That's what they do.
Is that it? Okay, because there's a lot of offices with people's names.
Yeah, but they rent those out to people, I think. Yeah, on this floor or downstairs?
Oh, right up here.
Yeah, that's to make it seem like a lot of people work here. I don't know. Well, who knows? Hey, listen, they got the coolest gig in the world. They let us come in here and do whatever we want and have been doing it for years. Am I right, Wani?
That's right.
Some of the leeway they've given us is really kind of nutty, but
I mean, we pay them a little bit of a fee, but as far as we get the whole run of the place for hours.
Right. Oh, yeah. And they're into music. They're fun. They're funny people to be around.
Well, the funny thing is, there's if you go a couple of doors down to the right, there's a radio station running right now. I mean, there's
exactly.
a fully automated radio happening.
Yeah. That's
and
right.
You just walk in the room and like everything's lit up and running and doing stuff. And nobody's there.
No one's there. No health insurance.
I was offered a job a couple of times to do that.
Place. Yeah. I've told Mac that before.
It's neat.
There.
It's really neat.
Really cool.
Right. So anyway,
you could take that over and say that you're aliens and you're about to take over.
That's right.
Exeter.
That's what we should do. That's what we should do. Like War of the Worlds. This will be the place that the aliens.
You could switch that out of fully automated and put it into live assist.
Yeah.
And then
speak in an echo box.
I am taking control of the radio station.
And the police will be here in 10 minutes.
Exit in the
Lock
mansion.
myself in.
Yeah.
And we'll be arrested.
I mean, how many radio DJs have done that in the Boston area?
Oh, that's right. That's a great bit. Wouldn't it be cool?
Yeah.
Really?
Let me
Lock
introduce
themselves
the rest of us. We got 45 minutes left, I think. I don't even know. The time went right out the window, didn't it there?
How long do you need?
I don't know. 45 minutes from 2:01.
Why do they lock themselves in?
It's more of a bit than anything else, but I know there's a sports guy who locked himself in the studio. Nobody could get in to get at him and
break the record.
Shut him off or anything.
Break the record for being on longest and stuff like that, you know.
Didn't Charles Lacquadera lock himself in a couple of times?
Yeah, probably. Also,
in BCN way back when it was at the top of the Prudential building.
You must have needed the ratings. Agent X is with us. Agent X, how you doing?
Thanks for having me. I'm having a good time.
Lieutenant Colonel.
After I fixed the technical issues, and glad to be with you guys.
Your camera was perfect, and then you hit it, and you.
No, it was something you did.
Okay.
It looks like Kilroy.
Looks like the Kilroy.
Over the
was
fence.
Wow, huh?
No.
Exactly.
Okay, listen.
Mac did it, whatever it was.
All right.
I said, text me or email me. I got nothing. And then, where are you?
Wow, huh? Okay.
And that blew me off Zoom.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Okay, my fault. Listen, and also, very quickly, my literary agent is with us tonight, Jim Frenkel. Jim, how are you doing down in Nashville?
I'm enjoying every nanosecond.
Are you
of
really?
this experience.
Down a nanosecond.
It's all going in my memoirs.
Now, listen, you don't want people getting a hold of you or anything like that, do you? You don't
Not
want
unless they're really talented writers.
Okay, there you go. So that's a big no. That's a hard no, as they say in the business.
That's right.
Mac, you ever gone on a book tour or something with one of your books?
No. Can I tell you why?
Appearing this weekend at Barnes and Noble?
No.
I have been with my wife when she was on a book tour.
Yes, his wife is a famous sci-fi writer.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay. Cool.
Also,
Very cool.
Raven is with us. Raven, our friend Goodrich. Raven.
Hi.
And also
Thanks for having me.
Al Ronaldo, UFO mechanic.
You know, Mac, you book signing, okay, but I was there when you and Steve and Juan did the Extra UFO.
Oh, that was a little different, yeah.
I mean, that wasn't a book signing, but it was a
let me
big,
tell you a very
big
quick
audience.
story. Very, very quick story.
That was a public appearance.
You got to go to Dulce Mountain, okay? Well, here's the difference. There were 500 people there, and once I went into a Barnes & Noble with Lois, right? And we're in Burlington, Mass, maybe, right?
Okay.
And we go in, we're upstairs, and it's this beautiful bookstore and so on. And there's someone way down the end, and they're sitting at a table, and they're surrounded by books, and no one is around them, right? And so Lois says, you get down and, get on and, no, I can't. I just couldn't do it. And because it was, I forget his name. Who's the quarterback for the Pats for so many years there in the 80s? When they
Steve Grogan.
Steve Grogan. It was Steve Grogan, who in a million years, I'd love to meet the guy, but I wasn't going to get down there, be the only person, talk to him. He's got big stacks of books. No one's paying attention to him. No thanks. And what do you sell, Jim? Maybe 10 books, 20 books? That's not worth a lifetime of
It
embarrassment.
doesn't matter. It's Steve Grogan. He was fantastic.
Yeah, but no one was there. That's my point,
It's in Massachusetts. They're all Mass weenies. Go ahead.
He's like a saint, or he was. So
Until
anyway,
Brady
so when
blew
you
it.
You're
said,
saying nobody goes to book signings. You could be Howard Stern and nobody would show up, right?
I'm not going to sit in a. I'm not going to.
True. Really, a lot of people go to book signings.
Really?
Yeah, a lot of
Okay.
people.
I think it depends on the writer,
person.
doesn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know,
If Augustine Burroughs came to my Barnes and Noble, I would be there.
yeah,
100%.
Okay, but the thing is that
I'd go to a Dan Brown book signing.
Dan Brown's a personal friend of his. But listen,
That's right.
Mack Maloney sitting there at a table. Forget about it. You have to have. People have to know who the hell you are. You know what I mean? You have to be like Stephen King and have a real event. Instead of doing a book tour.
Yeah.
Oh, no thanks.
Stephen King can't do it anymore.
He can't do it anymore, right? Yeah. He's
There
too.
are too many people who come to see him.
Yeah, he should stay the hell out of Fenway Park.
That would be like a festival. That couldn't even be like a day event.
Yeah, he comes down to Plum Island a lot, apparently, where we live. But listen, you know what he did? He ruined Red Sox season once. He
jinxed it.
He jinxed it with, what's his name there, Flash Gordon, the pitcher. And Flash didn't know, who the hell he was from nowhere.
Wrote a book.
Yeah, and he wrote a book about him. And then the next day, Flash goes out, great relief pitcher, trips on the top step of the dugout and rips his knee apart. There you go. That's the entire season of
Stephen King's
1999.
fault? I feel like that's his fault.
It is.
Yeah. Yep. And how was that?
It's not Stephen King's fault. Now.
Whose fault is
It
it?
doesn't seem like it's his fault.
Whose fault is
It's
it?
not. You are correct.
Did Stephen King get clobbered by a car? Like, did he get?
Yeah, someone hit him. Yes.
He was walking or on a bicycle or something and got whacked really hard.
He used to have a unibrow
He used to have
back in the 70s.
Really? Huh. What happened?
I honestly,
Yeah, it was adorable.
Oh, I'll bet.
I have never read
Me neither.
anything by Stephen King.
Me neither.
And I've really never seen any of the movies.
I saw It, and I saw It too, and that's enough, baby. Those are the creepiest. That's the one with the clown in the sewer, right? Oh, wow.
there you go.
But I'll tell you, as my friend told me, Stephen King went in like a lion and out like a lamb.
Wow, huh?
Everything
What's that mean?
for his 5 books was pure crap.
Well, some of his earlier books were really good.
Hey, listen,
No
Jim.
kidding. That's my point.
No, he still writes great short stories. He really does.
But
No,
he's no longer a
you're
novelist.
right about that, Jim. He is good at short stories.
Jim, you're the
always
expert.
has been.
Is he no longer a novelist? Is that it?
Oh no, he writes novels.
Yeah, but is he any good anymore?
But they all stink.
Do they all stink?
I haven't read one of his novels in a long time.
But I mean,
Just
what's
a
the
matter
buzz?
of-
What's the
matter of
buzz in the
time.
business? What's the buzz in the business? I mean, is he as big as he used to be?
He still sells.
Yeah.
He still sells very, very well.
Yeah, I don't think he's as big as he used to be, but
Yeah.
they
He's been
definitely
big for a long time, though.
He's been big for a
Yeah.
long time, right? Right.
Yeah.
No, he was immense. First 5 or 6 books when I was overseas.
Yeah.
Everybody in the military wanted to read it.
Ever see an interview with him where he's very frank about his personal life? Shall we say?
No.
They all turn weird.
Well, he turned really weird.
Not you or me.
No.
He's a genuinely nice guy.
He seems like a nice guy, but man, he had a bad youth, and he drinks a little bit too much. He's the first one to admit it, because he's way up in Maine, so you have to take.
But
that
he's
as-
also a very nice person. He really is.
Yeah, I'll bet.
He's
I'll bet
not.
he is, yeah. Not a
He's
dick.
never let his fame go to his head.
Yeah. Not a dick.
He really hasn't.
Yeah.
He does like a cameo in one of his movies here and there.
Yes.
And that's other than writing. I mean, like that's it. Like I remember the only thing that he really got like up in arms about was the Stanley Kubrick version of The Shining, which he
Terrible.
hated.
Terrible movie.
And it's an excellent movie.
Terrible
I didn't understand
movie.
why he hated
Absolutely
it. The
terrible
miniseries
movie.
that he did stunk up a room.
Yeah, then even
I hated it.
No, that's a terrible movie. And I'll tell you why. Can I tell you why? Oh man, are we going to do
Tell me
this?
why.
Hang
Tell me
on there,
why.
hang on, Switchy. Because Jack Nicholson overacts in the movie. He overacts for the entire movie. Now, if you just had someone who did that, who's a little more subtle about it, and not putting it in his own little, Johnny's here and all this stuff, how creepy would that movie have been? But
But nobody would never have heard of it again. Jack
didn't have-
Nicholson made that movie.
Jack made
Yes,
the
he
movie,
did.
yeah.
No,
They didn't
I don't
have
agree.
the hedge animals.
Yeah, they didn't have that. Yeah, right,
The hedge
exactly.
animals, I
Yes.
I feel like he
That's
should have
funny.
had that because it would have been way creepier.
Yeah,
but
he
Jack going up the stairs with the axe,
Yeah, but if-
that part makes the movie.
Let me ask
Just
you
when
this.
he's approaching Wendy, it's
Real
so
quick.
suspenseful.
Do you remember? You know who Anthony Perkins was? The person who was in Psycho.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Imagine him
Oh, yeah.
with the axe. Someone like him. Wouldn't it be creepier? Wouldn't it be just like creepier than Jack? Acting.
Somebody
his
who
pants
isn't
off?
creepy just to look at, because Jack Nicholson is creepy.
Yeah, and it's always Jack Nicholson.
Just to look at.
It's always
It's a
Jack
classic.
Nicholson. That's the
I
problem.
love Jack.
I know,
I'm
it
not
is-
going to mention any names, but look at the roster here on the screen. Is there anybody here that would make a creepy Jack Torrance?
Oh,
Yeah,
I know.
X,
Screen right
X,
now.
Maybe Jim.
and then Jim.
Actually,
we got a
and,
couple.
three or four of them.
I'm seeing butts.
X, then Jim. What? Yeah, no.
You know the little kid that played the son, Danny.
Okay.
I saw an interview with him
Red
when he was, he was an adult.
He was traumatized.
No, he said he didn't know it was a horror movie.
He didn't know they were filming a
shi-
horror movie. No one told him.
Yeah,
That
he
makes
was
sense.
shielded from it so
Really?
much.
He had no idea until he was
Wow.
much older, and I think he's like a math teacher.
Child,
something, but he
child
said-
cruelty.
He had no idea what was going on.
listen.
And it didn't.
No
it,
clue.
It never bothered him. Unlike
Sorry, we
Linda
were
Blair
Oh, yeah.
in The Exorcist, who she had a pretty good idea what was going on.
Yeah. Later married Rick James. Imagine that. Hey, listen, that's another show. That's one of our music shows. So look, we got one more thing from beyond Area 51 is this place called Dulce Mountain. And it's very close to a Air Force base down in New Mexico called Kirkland Air Force Base. And they are the people who used to run ARP way up in Alaska. Figure that out. But what happened real quick, and then I'm going to turn over to Switch, is that this place, there was a time when this place was a very, very, very top secret place. Not so much that no one knew it was there, but some of the stuff they did there was like really way out. And one of the things that they were doing there in tandem back in the 80s, I'm assuming, was they were testing the stealth fighter down there before anyone knew what the stealth fighter was. And they're also a place where they would stockpile nuclear weapons, okay, which they didn't want the Russians to know, where we were hiding them, that type of thing. Do I have that much straight at least, Switchy?
Yeah, and I think there still is. There've been all kinds of rumors about this place. I think they even talk about it in the Skinwalker Ranch because of the proximity. Mm. But there are just all these rumors about alien greys and reptilians being there underground in this multi-level complex, and somehow they got some kind of truce between them. Mm-hmm. They're creating all kinds of hybrid creatures, and they use some of us for food.
Yes.
The others get to be slaves,
humans,
and shipped off to the moon and Mars.
Yep.
What's that?
And I was going to say that when you say us, you mean the humans. They made this.
Yes.
These aliens came down and they took over this mountain, caught it out, made a deal with Eisenhower at JFK. He got shot the next day or something, and they said, "Let us stay here, and we won't harm you if you don't harm us." But then they would take people and turn them into octopus men, and half dog, half human, and
nice guys.
And they'd have battles between them and the special forces and stuff. And they take some humans and as Switch, they bring them to the moon and Mars, as slave labor and so on. But we should tell the story how that all started.
Well, it's also the rumor was that President Eisenhower was forced to sign an alliance with these creatures, and so we're kind of stuck with it. We're under their heel.
Mm-hmm. So what they did was
Switch. May I ask you?
Go ahead.
You're saying President Eisenhower. Am I confusing this between Eisenhower and Truman, like the movie? I'm sorry, the TV series Dark Skies?
Yes.
I think, and I'm not sure about this. Remember Gray Barker and James Mosley? Gray Barker, the editor of Saucerian Publications, Jim Mosley, Saucer News. These guys would get roaring drunk and get together and create all kinds of hoaxes.
Cool.
I think the Eisenhower/Truman thing about, making a deal with aliens, I think came from them. I know, there's certain ones that did come from them, like the letter they sent to George Adamski, implying that the government approved of his work and, agreed with his contact experiences.
Wow. Hey, so what they did...
That's why Switch is Switch. That is so cool.
Switch is Switch. Switch being Switch. So what happened was, there's this guy, right, who lived on the outskirts of Kirkland Air Force Base, and he was a military contractor. His name was Paul Benowitz, and he lived like right across the street from the main gate. And he used to do some work. He was a scientist, a physicist, one of these type of guys. And he used to do some work for them inside the air base. So, but he also used to do stuff on his own. And so what he found out from his own experiments in his house was that he was receiving messages that he believed were from, who knows where, that kind of, how should I say this? They were actually coming from, first of all, this nuclear storage facility they had there, and then also them flying the stealth fighter around. And this kind of weird coincidence led him to believe that there was something really kind of crazy going on, right? So he goes and he tries to report this to the powers that be inside the Air Force Base, and they don't listen to him right away. This is not some nut off the street. This is someone who works with them and so on. They didn't listen to him, and then they put these two bozos on his case. And I think they were part of the AFI, Air Force Intelligence, but they're really, I think, X told me, they're really kind of like glorified MPs or whatever. They're not what you think they are. And they did a number of things. Books have been written about this, but, they broke into his house. They stole some of his computer stuff. They did this, they did that. But what they did is they tried to take him under their wing, and they fed him these stories, which when he kind of combined that from what he was finding out on his own about it, they made sense to him. Okay. I mean, how odd is that? And they knew that he might have been some kind of some kind of a wingnut or whatever. He's a smart guy, but who knows what he was really like socially or whatever. And they really laid it on thick with this guy, and he started believing them, and he started getting involved with people who said that they've been abducted and stuff. And then this whole kind of aliens inside a Dulce Mountain started. And people started believing that, and so on. And then, years went by, and he went in and out of a mental institution twice, okay? And even at one point, one of the guys who did this to him, he said, listen, okay, I'm sorry, I did it. It's kind of an apology. I'm sorry I did it, and just following orders and stuff. And at that point, Paul Benowitz wouldn't even believe him. He refused to believe that the UFO stuff was not true. So,
like you say, they took him under his wing. He was in meetings with them, and what he had stumbled upon it was a classified national security agency communication system,
right? Yeah,
to track Russian satellites. I mean, so they could have gone to him and said, "Look, this is they didn't even have to tell him what it was. This is a classified program we're working on. We need you to sign a form to say that you won't blow the whistle, instead of driving him nuts to disqualify him."
Right. I mean, which they do in 99 out of 100 cases. Okay, but with these two guys, for whatever they wanted, whatever the reason they did it, they literally drove this guy nuts. And he either died. I don't know how he died, whether he, did it himself, or whether he died or whatever. But he died a young man, broken. Mentally had some issues caused by these guys. Didn't you say they both went scot-free, right, Switch? Nothing ever happened to them, did they?
And even Richard Doty was speaking at UFO conferences and getting a big hand.
One of the guys that did it.
What the hell?
Yeah.
This poor guy was trying to, tell the government that he thought something was up. They should know about this.
Yeah.
He was trying to be helpful, doing his duty as an American citizen, and they did this to him.
That's what happened to him. Yeah. It's a weird story. Go ahead, Jim.
It's shameful what they did to him. Yeah. I mean, there's no excuse.
You've heard about this.
It's just one of those. They did it because they could.
Yes, right, exactly. Yep.
They had the power to do this, and they did it, and they killed his credibility, and as you say, they tried to drive him crazy.
Yep, and they succeeded. Yeah, very odd. That was kind of a downer, kind of a bummer in the book. Actually, I think I started that chapter by making it seem like it was almost true. And I got letters or, reviews saying I stopped reading at page 32 because it really got too nuts. And I'm describing octopus men and stuff. And then somewhere I go, no, wait a minute, this isn't true.
Right.
Should have probably put that closer up to the beginning of the chapter, Jim. Was that a
Yes, you should have.
Yeah, okay. Just trying to be cool, that's all. Swing and a miss.
Yeah. No, it misled me too when I was reading that chapter.
But by that time, don't you think when you're 4 or 5 stories in that when I'm just trying to give you the facts that all of a sudden I'm not going to go nuts with the octopus dogs and stuff?
Yeah, it was confusing.
Oh, it was confusing.
I was disappointed.
That wasn't the answer I wanted.
Okay. Right.
It's an answer nonetheless.
That's your next book, Aliens in 3 Dimensions, Octopus.
Yes.
In history, in science,
and other crustaceans,
in culture. Go ahead. Sorry.
Sorry. Mm-hmm.
No, we're good. I feel like once you're like that far into a book, it's like you either are like, okay, I'm finishing this, I'm invested in it, or like, what are you doing?
Mm-hmm.
Why'd you even pick it up? You know what I mean? Like, you knew what you were kind of getting into.
Yes, yes.
You committed at that point.
You committed at that point. Was right. Oh, you should be committed.
Yeah.
So
I was committed by then.
One last thing.
Once I'm a chapter in, I'm committed.
Really? Yeah.
I have an engagement ring on that book.
Oh, really?
Wow.
Can I send you a full set? No, anyway, stop. That was awful. Now,
boom.
Terrible.
Sure.
I just want to say. I just want to say.
I have a story about this last weekend. If you want me to finish.
Okay. Can you elevator pitch it for us? You were you were the key speaker. Where?
I was at the Beast of Bray Road conference, and I spoke. Wow. It's held just north of Elkhorn, Wisconsin, where they started seeing these upright canids, and Linda Godfrey has been covering them. And there's some legitimate weirdness up there, which I can talk about later. But I was sitting at my table, and this lady saw the Mack Maloney Military X-Files coasters that Commander Cobra sent me.
Yes.
So she said, Mack Maloney's Military X-Files, I love that show.
Oh.
who's that Battle Creek guy?
Oh, come on.
No.
no. It's me.
So
Shameless
funny.
plug.
That is such a good story.
That's a hip plug. Wow.
Did she like lose it when she found out that was you?
She turned
No, she
away.
was just stunned at my handsome countenance.
Oh,
I
really?
think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Of course.
Yeah.
Did you take her out to breakfast?
Absolutely.
Did you take her out for breakfast?
Did you take her out to breakfast? Take her out
No,
to
I
the Grand
gave her a
Slam.
coaster.
You gave her a coaster.
Only one?
Did you sign the
Should have gotten a
coaster?
Grand Slam.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, actually, I did.
You signed it? Wow.
Yeah, how about that? That's
Can I
awesome.
Can I say something about last weekend?
What a good story. Well done.
Hey, listen.
Wow.
We only have like a few
about
minutes
that?
left. Let me I just going to say two things real quick. So listen, Area 51, go on Amazon, buy it, read it. I think you'd enjoy it. It's just really, it sounds like this show. It's written like this show is. A lot of crazy stuff in there. I know at one point.
I'll tell you,
Go ahead, Jim.
Just for a second, Mac, that I was really excited because it had stuff from all over the world. It wasn't just American stuff.
Right, yes.
And that was a revelation to me.
Right.
I thought that, because it had stuff from England, Scotland, Russia, elsewhere, that was, I thought that was very cool.
Thank you very much. I
And
appreciate that.
when you read about the M triangle, you better have an extra pair of socks because it will knock your socks off.
It will, yeah. It's a very strange place, yeah.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, very good.
Yes. I love the dad joke.
And finally, Mac, I got to tell you,
Yes.
the way it begins,
Yes.
way back to the Old Testament with Megiddo,
Yes.
that just sets the whole book up.
But the way it begins is you and me in the bar. The way it begins is you and me down Michael's Harborside. Don't you remember that?
Well, you know what I mean.
Yes,
Not
okay.
that.
All right.
I mean,
Okay.
the
Michael's
first-
Harborside.
Yes.
Wow.
So
I
listen.
get the beachcomber. He gets the Harborside. Wow.
It was closer to where I lived at the time. But I just want to say that the book has a surprise ending, which I'm glad no one has brought up. The last 5 pages of the book kind of answer what the question that is asked throughout the book is, and basically it's like, if you're really going to hide something, and please, if you've read it, please don't tell anyone, because we want to leave it as a. Wow, there was Bob the Ghost again. He must have read the book. Did you hear him up there?
Yeah, he's banging around. He doesn't want to let it go.
Oh boy! All right, so it's just kind of a surprise ending, and answers the question. If you really want to hide something, where do you hide it? But anyway, that's Beyond Area 51. Buy it off of Amazon, see what happens. I also want to say that we are giving away swag. Swag is what the kids call it, and Switchy just mentioned it. If you write to us, if you go to mackmaloney.com and hit the contact button and send us an email, we will send to you some Mack Maloney Military X-Files swag, okay? There's buttons, there's like decals, but there are bar coasters which are turning out to be extremely popular, as it turns out, okay? And I don't know, maybe you use them once, throw them, I don't know, but, we're trying to, we're having these, South Korean kids pump out these bar coasters as quickly as we can and get them the hell
Just in
over
time
there.
for the holidays.
Just in time for the holidays.
Do you want them to specify what they would want? Or
No. We're just going to send you an envelope full of stuff. Okay. Now, here's the funny thing. Send us an email and send us your postal address, because what a lot of people have done is that they'll send me an email and they'll go, yeah, send me the stuff. Well, I don't have their address.
Oops.
Okay. So, that requires a second
My friend
email.
did that, and she texted me asking me if it was like real.
Yeah.
And I was like, it's 100% real. I said, just send them your address.
Yes.
Hi,
Yes.
Ashley. I love you.
You want it, right? Your mailing address, your PO address, exactly. Right. And
Yes.
so do that, and we'll send out the swag. As soon as the new supplies come in. We got to thank Coco for coming up with this beer coaster right there. I wonder where he was when he got that brilliant notion.
Yeah, it is an excellent.
Maybe he's in a bar
very well
somewhere.
done.
He says, "Where's my
By the way,
coaster?"
I signed it as Switch.
Switch. All right, Switchy. Good. Keep your brand alive there, brother. Cool.
That's good.
right.
Right on, brother.
All right, I'm going to thank everyone, and I'm going to start with Jim, so he can go to sleep or something. If he isn't already
Go to
asleep.
sleep. I'm an hour earlier than you are here.
Hey, listen.
But I got to say, Switch, I love the UFO lamp from your ceiling, hanging from your ceiling, that you had early in the broadcast.
Oh.
Your image, your
I thought
graphic.
that was great. I really love that. I'd love to get one of those.
Switch designed his whole house.
Thanks
He
for
did all.
having me, guys. It's been fun.
Yes, thank you, Jim.
Appreciate it.
And you did stay awake this one. There's
thanks,
the
Jim.
official. The
I
show's
stay
over.
awake this one. I always stay awake.
No, I have a picture of you falling asleep during the first time you were ever on here. Would you like to purchase that picture?
Wow.
I'm going to send it to you. You had your tie-dye, you had your Grateful Dead shirt on. I assumed you were asleep. Maybe something else was going on. Who knows?
Blinking.
Okay.
I don't know.
Thank you, Jim. Thank you, Jim, and thank you for making me a better writer. I say that in all sincerity. Yeah, I could have, really kind of rebelled against you, but I didn't. I learned. I could have, pictured you as my nun in the 5th grade, but I learned.
Well, we at the publishing company at the time and your readers all appreciate that.
This was, this is like book 48. I have already written 48 books before someone told me how to write a book, and that's basically what Jim did. Thank you, Jim. Thanks for joining us. We appreciate that. Okay, Agent X, thank you for joining the Army and, also saving those 2 girls with the beach chairs. He's always in service.
Thank you for having me.
Always in
I
service.
love to hear the books are doing well.
How's your friend's book doing there, The Wolf of Clontarf?
My friend's book is doing exceptionally well. I think I may have even sent you called you.
Go ahead.
A questioning email saying, what is all this stuff that my friend is getting from women all over the world?
See?
The book is called Wolf of Clontarf, and the website is tjhoweybooks.com. But thank you. It's doing well. Thank you.
That's good. Yeah, your friend sounds a lot like you, as it turns out.
No, well, he's not as good looking as me, but he's a nice guy.
What do I tell you? What they tell
Nobody
you?
can be as good looking as you.
Yes, there you go. That's all he
I
wants.
know. That's what the women tell me.
Pour more gasoline on that bonfire, please. Thank you, X, for being with us. Thank you, Switch, for joining us. Switch, thank you. We appreciate that. Where are you appearing next?
As always.
Where are you appearing next, there, Switchy?
I may be doing a spirit fair in Grand Rapids in a couple of weeks.
Oh, cool. Okay. Switchblade.
I
Wow.
just off the Van Meter Visitor Festival and the Easter Bay Road Festival.
Mm-hmm. And now you're a celebrity. How's it feel?
I'm a marginal celebrity. Feels marginal.
No, feels marginal. Okay. All right. That's how it's supposed to feel. Al Ronaldo, UFO mechanic, thank you for joining us.
Hey, glad to be here.
Okay.
Well,
And steering the ship, more or less.
Yeah, right.
And for going and looking for the ghost. That's a big plus.
I'm hearing a lot of stuff out there.
Yeah, it's really weird here.
There's a party in the next room, and we're the only people in the building.
How about that? And now we come to the part where
radio.
We have to say goodbye to Raven. Raven, good night, Raven. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you so much for having me. Good night, everyone.
Good night, Raven.
Well done, Raven.
So I can,
Thank you.
So I can tell Paul in Belfast, he's going to write me tonight to ask if you wore your big librarian glasses. Can I say next week, maybe?
Tell him next week. I literally have it written down. It says wear glasses on my notepad right in front of me.
Paul in Belfast. Okay, he writes half the email in English and then the other half in Gaelic. I should send it to you, X. You can tell me what he's talking about.
He's the only one who understands it, right?
Indeed.
Okay. Thank you. And thank you, Juan, for joining us.
You're welcome.
As always.
Pleasure.
Okay. All right. Everything good with your dog? Your dog's going to get a little bit of surgery?
Got moved out to November.
That's
She's getting spayed in November. She was
Good.
going to get spayed tonight, but it didn't happen.
What's the dog's name? Lucia or something?
Lucia.
Lucia. You got one more month, baby. One more month.
Lucia, mamma mia, Lucia.
Let her run around. Let her run around for a month.
We should get her a Mack Maloney's collar. Like a little bell.
Ooh, yeah.
on it or
A little
something.
bell.
Oh, that would be
Great
so
idea.
cute.
Yes, it would be
I can
cute.
get one for Friday and they can match.
Yeah. Have it written right on it. I've been spayed. Unnuded.
I've been
Watches
fixed.
TV.
I got fixed.
Really? That the dog gets... Yeah.
She's unbelievable. She watches TV
Well, you should
attentively.
You should get her together with Coco's Ballas Huss there. I think they'd have a lot to...
or with Zeppelin.
Yeah, the pig.
Zeppelin's got the brains of the outfit.
Here we go. Yeah, great. The 400-pound pig is the brains of the outfit.
Raven was going to talk about her kitty cat clock.
Raven,
Oh,
right.
I-
Tell us, quick.
I don't. Do we have time for it?
Sure, yes. We always have time.
Yeah.
Is it a Felix?
I bought this Kit Kat clock.
Yes.
And I mean, I really don't like to talk badly about, companies and small businesses, but they straight up screwed me over this clock.
Really?
And
Looks okay from here.
this is an $80 piece of crap.
Wow.
So nobody buy one.
Wow.
They're so expensive. And I specifically got yellow is my favorite color. So I
Yes.
specifically bought the yellow one.
Looks white from here.
Paid extra for it.
Yes.
And I've had it since probably January of 2021,
Yes.
and this is the first time it's worked.
Oh,
is in this one.
really? Because
This
its
is the
tail's
first time
going
it's
back and forth. Wow.
It's about time.
Yeah.
Raven.
So I would hang it up. I would change the batteries, everything.
Yes.
Nothing was working.
Huh.
I emailed them and they said, well, we can't refund you your money because of me. And that was it. And I was just like, okay. So
She just
I
held
was like,
up a
okay, well,
finger.
can I send this back to you? Can you check it out?
Yes.
Maybe replace pieces to it, whatever.
Yes.
They said, oh yeah, sure. That's going to be like $25.
To
And I'm
mail
like,
it, yes. Okay.
to mail it into you? Are you kidding me?
Another 25
And
to
I'm
mail it
like,
back.
I'm about to just eat, the price. I don't even care at this point, whatever.
Yes.
So I put it away. My husband and I redid all of our house, everything.
Mr.
So
Raven.
I was like, you know what? I'm like, this is so dumb, but I'm just going to hang it up here. If it works, fine. If it doesn't, I don't even care. I'll throw it out. I just don't even care at this point. I was so aggravated by the entire thing. I hang it up.
Yes.
It has been working for over a week at this point. It's been almost a year, and this is the only time it has worked. And I'm like, I call my husband up here, and I'm like, Mr. Raven, look at this. And he's like, are you kidding me? And I'm just like, no.
I'm getting hypnotized by the tail going back and forth. Is anyone else getting that vibe? I feel like
it might have been sensitive to how true the wall might be. Maybe the wall is more true than where you had hung before. Some clocks, even so-called cheap ones.
I tried because people said
that.
pull it out and have it hanging off the very end of the nail. So
Yes.
I tried that. I tried having it flat against the wall. I changed the batteries probably 6 different times.
Wow.
I have no idea what I did differently this time.
The tail looks...
Nothing, but
the tail is...
it's every time I look at it, I get pissed. And I'm like, I don't even know why I have this up.
Raven, is it a Felix the cat?
Yes, it is. Yeah.
It's a Felix the cat one,
Yes.
right? Okay.
Yes. Can you see it in the window here? Can you see it?
Yeah, I see it in the background.
I'm seeing double after
I
watching
also
that tail for
signed
2
up
hours.
to be a member of their fan club, and they still wouldn't let me send it back to them without
Wow.
charging me $25. And I bought a pair of socks because I'm a sucker. So
You bought socks from the same company that you bought a Felix the Cat
yeah,
clock from?
I bought it all at once. So it was like I bought the clock, the socks, and I signed up for their fan club.
Wow. Huh.
And then I got
Raven,
screwed, and
none
I
of
was
us had
so
any
mad.
idea you were such a rich girl.
There you go.
Oh, I'm not.
Hey, listen.
Do you know?
Clock and socks go together.
Do you know the history of Felix the cat?
We have to, please. Can you do it in 15 seconds? What happened to him?
No, I mean he was a cartoon character way back.
Yeah, right. Yeah, sure.
She's a little young for.
Oh well,
He
listen.
had a bag of tricks.
Her old.
Yeah.
Her father
I'm
is
older
old.
than I look.
No.
And his enemy was the master cylinder.
She's older than 18, folks. All right, look at.
And his sidekick was Poindexter.
That's
All
another.
this wicked old stuff is getting me depressed.
That's
I have no
another.
idea what I'm talking about.
That's another show.
Please continue.
Let's pull this. Let's pull the train into a station and hope we don't crash. Thank you, everyone out there, for listening. Homes for Our Troops. Please Google Homes for Our Troops. They're a military charity that builds homes for wounded veterans and make it easier for them to get around. And then when the home is built, they give them the mortgage. They give them the home for nothing. They deserve it. Homes for Our Troops. Please Google them. Also, Russ Sharp and his Mad Englishman friends are rebuilding the Mosquito warplane from World War II, made of wood, 2 Rolls-Royce engines, because the British were running out of steel, but they made it so fast that they didn't put machine guns on them. You know why? Tell us, Walnut.
Because they could outfly and outrun the bullets.
Outrun the bullets. That's how fast this plane was. Ross Sharp, the People's Mosquito Project. Also Google them. And one more time, I'll remind you, if you want some MMM X-Files swag, just go to MackMaloney.com and hit the contact button. Send us your postal address, and we'll send you out a small packet of swag, including bar coasters, which are very, very popular, as it turns out. So thank you, everyone, for participating tonight in the special show, Beyond Area 51. Go on Amazon. Check it out, what we've been talking about for the last 2 hours. And this is Mack Maloney for
Go Red Sox.
The whole gang. That's way over by this point. Those guys are playing golf by the time people hear this show. And the Yankees will be in, still here on the playoffs. But listen, thank you, everyone, for listening to us. Until the next time you hear us, this is Mac for everybody saying be safe, be happy, and
bye-bye.